Baseball Night in America here on Fox brings us to Arlington, Texas. The Lone Star Series, the Houston Astros and the Texas Rangers. Here at Globe Life Park, one of the bright young stars in all of baseball, Carlos Correa. One of the bright older veterans in all of baseball, Adrian Beltre, off the DL and playing well. Speaking of playing well, how about the Astros? 39-16, already a 12.5 game lead in the American League West. And hello there, everybody. Justin Kutcher alongside CJ Nitkowski. And CJ, this Astros team has been the best team in all of baseball this season. And as crazy as it sounds, they have gotten even better over their last 8 games, winning 8 in a row.
Oh, they're playing really well. It has everything to do with this high-powered offense that they have in Houston right now. This is a deep lineup. It is relentless. Now, they've added a couple of veterans, but it is the strong bats right now that seem to be carrying this team. They've been good at the top of the rotation, but it has been all about the sticks as of late. And then you start to look at, okay, well, how has the season gone compared to, say, the world champs a year ago? Well, there's some pretty unbelievable numbers when you start to look side by side at both of these teams. And so the Astros right now, not that they're looking that far ahead and thinking they have this thing won, but they're certainly sitting in a nice position. And now tonight, we'll look at this starting matchup that you're going to have here between Lance McCullers Jr. and Andrew Cashner. And these guys have both played pivotal roles for both of these teams. Cashner has been very steady, doing a very nice job his first year in his home state, but Lance McCullers really has emerged with ace-like stuff, the great curveball, the high-powered fastball. He has been very good as well. You see there what he has done in the month of May.
Both big and small stars here in Texas. This one should be fun. Last night, it was a 7-1 victory for the Astros. Tonight, the Rangers are trying to snap a streak. We'll have first pitch coming up next here on Fox. There is some history between these two teams the last few years. Since Houston joined the American League West in 2013, Texas leads the series. August 15th to September 2016, it's been all Texas. But this year, Houston leads the series 4-1. A look at the lineup for the Astros. George Springer will lead things off, followed by Josh Reddick, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa will bat cleanup. Carlos Beltran will DH and bat fifth. Marwin Gonzalez will bat sixth and play first base. Brian McCann, Alex Bregman, and Nori Aoki, the bottom third of the order. And we are underway. Cashner, first pitch, pop foul behind home plate. Giving it a look is Lucroy, and that'll go into the seats for strike one. Well, George Springer, he's gotten himself off to a good start. 269, 14 home runs, 34 RBIs, and this guy has some pop. 13 leadoff home runs since 2016. That leads all of baseball. And he's behind in the count, 0-2 to Cashner.
Not only some pop, but unbelievably aggressive as well. George Springer does not cut his swing down regardless of count. Swings hard all the time. We know he's a great athlete. We've seen him now in this league and what he has done since he's gotten to the big leagues. But it is incredible to watch the aggressiveness of this hitter and a lot of these hitters in the Houston Astros lineup.
Andrew Cashner ahead in the count. The 0-2. Ground ball to shortstop, Andrews. And there's one away here in the first. Andrew Cashner on the season. 2-4, the 2.92 ERA, 52 1/3 innings. This is interesting. 27 walks to 23 strikeouts. But he does such a great job with runners on base, and the scouting report on him.
So heavy twos, meaning heavy two-seam usage. You saw the ground ball right there. That is a big part of Andrew Cashner's game. And secondaries matter. The secondary pitches and what he throws after that two-seam fastball, which is going to be the slider, the changeup, and the curveball. It matters that he's throwing those for strikes. It makes his fastball that much more effective. That's what he's going to have to try to do today against a very tough Astros lineup.
That first pitch fastball to Reddick in there for a strike. Josh Reddick, signed in the offseason. Another one of those veterans that you were talking about in the open. Down the left field line foul where Joey Gallo gave it a look. Another 0-2 count here for Cashner, but Reddick this year 272, 6 home runs, 22 RBIs. Josh Reddick, Carlos Beltran, Brian McCann acquired in a trade. Fastball is low and outside at 95. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Cashner still has some of that good velocity that a lot of people might remember from what he did with the San Diego Padres, but his game really has changed. The strikeouts we showed him there have come down. He has become much more of a contact pitcher.
Outside, 2-2. Cashner missed most of spring training with a right bicep soreness. Two-two, pop foul. Beltre over. That'll reach the seats. We'll do it again at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That was a little bit of concern for the Rangers when Cashner ended up missing some time. They actually started off the season with just a 4-man rotation. The schedule allowed them to do that, and they got themselves an opportunity to buy a little time before Andrew Cashner ultimately was ready and to get back into the rotation. But he has been steady, and they've battled not only his injuries but some other ones as well. Cole Hamels, A.J. Griffin.
Reddick in the air left field. Gallo going back a little bit. Got plenty of room. He's there with the glasses on to make the catch. And there's 2 up, 2 down here in the first. A look at the defense here for the Rangers. In the outfield from left to right, we just saw Joey Gallo make that catch. Jared Hoying in center. Nomar Mazara in right. Around the horn in the infield, Mike Napoli at first base. Rougned Odor at second. Elvis Andrus at short. Adrian Beltre at third, and behind the plate is Jonathan Lucroy. 2 away now for Jose Altuve. And Altuve, first pitch swinging, delivers one into right field for a 2-out single. All this guy does is hit. Tonight's keys to the game sponsored by the Lincoln Motor Company.
And we look at these and take a look at what the Houston Astros really have to do in order to win this game. Take what is given, and Jose Altuve just gave you a perfect example of what that is. Andrew Cashner will throw that fastball down and away off into righties, taking it the other way. And for the Texas Rangers, they got to be gloving it tonight, Justin. And that means, of course, they have to play some really good defense, because Andrew Cashner, as I mentioned, not a strikeout guy anymore, so there's going to be a lot of balls that are put in play. Defense is going to matter here for the Rangers. It could be just one little mistake that could make all the difference in the world. So solid defense tonight from the Rangers could be key.
Well, the first pitch fastball is up and in to the American League Player of the Month for the month of May, and Carlos Correa, who's hitting .313, 10 home runs, 37 RBIs. Had a home run in last night's ball game off of Yu Darvish. And this time the fastball misses low and outside, so 2 balls and no strikes. Correa got off to a slow start in April and then picked it up in May. 2-0 out in front of that off-speed pitch, and you mentioned those secondary pitches will be so key for Cashner. 2-1.
And in last night's game, we saw a little bit of this from Carlos Correa, where he'll get ahead in the count, get in that good fastball count, and chase off speed pitches and swing through them. And so we know he gets 2-0, 1-0, 2-1. Feeling confident there's a fastball coming. He is letting it fly. And as good as a player as he is, and you see the good numbers there with his batting average, he will go hacking and swing and miss every once in a while in that fastball count.
There his numbers. Runner goes, foul tipped. Altuve looked like he had that base stolen. He's got 11 steals on the season, 11 for 13. He's one of the more fun players to watch in all of baseball.
I would agree. I mean, he does so many things well, plays good defense, runs the bases well. He's an incredible hitter.
Gives guys like me, kids like me, hope when they're growing up.
That's right. Absolutely. Him, Dustin Pedroia, you do not have to be a large man to play this game.
The 2-2 pitch called strike 3, 95. Correa doesn't like the call by Angel Hernandez. The Astros strand a man on base. The Rangers coming up. Tonight, Shin-Soo Choo will lead things off in DH. Elvis Andrus bats second. Nomar Mazara will bat third. Adrian Beltre off the DL. Just his 5th game, bats cleanup. Rougned Odor bats 5th. Jonathan Lucroy in the 6th hole. Joey Gallo batting 7th with 16 home runs. Mike Napoli in the 8th hole. And then Jared Hoying will bat 9th for Jeff Bannister. They will face Lance McCullers, the pitcher of the month in the month of May. 6-1, a 2.48 ERA, 19 walks, 73 strikeouts, and a scouting report on him.
Yeah, we'll talk about this curveball a lot. The beautiful bender of Lance McCullers. He uses it a ton, more than anybody else. He's got an exceptional combination. I say the combination of a high strikeout rate, better than 10 per 9, but he's also got a very nice ground ball rate at 61%. So a lot of times your ground ball pitchers, your heavy ground ball pitchers, are not necessarily strikeout artists, but that's not the case with Lance McCullers.
Behind the count, 1-0. Choo to center field. Base hit, leadoff single for Choo. And Shin-Soo Choo able to get to McCullers right away. The defense behind McCullers in the outfield from left to right. Nori Aoki in left field, George Springer in center, Josh Reddick in right, around the horn in the infield, Marwin Gonzalez at first, Jose Altuve at second, Carlos Correa at short, Alex Bregman at third, and behind the plate is Brian McCann. And here's Elvis Andrus. 296, 7 home runs, 29 RBIs, and recently married.
That's right, Thursday he tied the knot.
This gets by McCann. Down to second base goes Choo.
This looks like just a little bit of an overthrow from Lance McCullers on a fastball. It was in the dirt, caught Brian McCann off guard, did not have time to get down as that one was right in between his legs.
Wild pitch for Lance McCullers. So the Rangers have something going here in the bottom half of the first. Runner on second, nobody out. 1 ball, no strikes to Andrus against a guy in Lance McCullers who in the month of May was 4-0 with a .99 ERA, and the numbers with Andrus this year with runners in scoring position. And there's that breaking ball for a strike. And speaking with McCullers yesterday, he has more confidence in the curveball than he does in his fastball. And so when you're a hitter and you're thinking you're in a fastball count and you're facing a guy like McCullers Jr., you're probably getting a curveball.
There's a good chance it's a pitch that he uses often. 46% of the time you see right there, rounded up to go ahead to 47. That is the most in Major League Baseball, and you understand why. It's a good one.
Missing outside.
I will say this, and we love when guys share information. I don't know if I'm telling people that have a microphone or a pen or anything else that I don't have as much confidence in my fastball, right? Because you know, listen, we talk about it, other people hear it, and you start thinking he's got a good fastball. But the idea that he wouldn't have confidence in that velocity he throws, yeah, he's got a great breaking ball, but it's pretty tough to survive in this game if you're not confident in that fastball.
Fouled away. 2-2 at 98.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a big number. And I mean, it's live electric stuff. And this isn't a deep repertoire, right? This is a guy that only goes fastball, curveball, changeup. So I'm not giving any away secrets as far as what do I like to use in certain situations.
But look, I mean, what he's basically saying, and here are the numbers that he had in the month of May. That's why he was the pitcher of the month. I mean, a 0.99 ERA, 4-0 record. He's already got 6 wins on the season. If he wins here today, he sets a new career high in wins. A lot of guys say, look, I've got more confidence in my fastball than I do in any other pitch. Staying alive is Andrus, so he's just saying, I've got more confidence in this pitch than a fastball.
Yeah.
And he says, like, I mean, it's basically saying, look, a guy can say, I've got 98. I'm going to throw it to you. Here it comes. Let's see if you can hit it. He's saying, here's my curveball, see if you can hit it. Guys just can't hit it.
No, he's been good. 212 batting average against, but actually the fastball's been even better. 197 batting average against on that great fastball.
2-2 back up the middle. Choo going to be waved around third. Here comes Springer. The throw is cut off. An RBI single by Andrus, and the Rangers take an early 1-0 lead.
Elvis Andrus has been so important to this team, especially why Adrian Beltre was out. He's been a very consistent hitter. He's done a very nice job as of late. He comes through big here in a situation, and Choo actually hesitated there a little bit. Almost seemed like he might have been surprised that he was waved home.
Nomar Mazara steps to the plate. 283, 6 home runs, 35 RBIs. 1 run in, runner on first, nobody out. And Mazara fouls the first pitch away. There's that curveball. 0-2. Mazara, just 22 years old, turned 22 on April 26th. Andrews got back in time. Elvis Andrews, 12 of 16 in stolen bases.
See him going out there and playing with that dirt a little bit. Makes you wonder, maybe he slipped, right? It's been a lot of rain in the area the last couple of days. There was some more rain this morning. The grounds crew, of course, has done an excellent job of getting this field ready. But it looked like Elvis might have slipped there just a little bit.
You mean that biblical rain was a lot of rain?
Big lightning strikes on the DFW area.
0-2 again, gets by McCann. Down to second base goes Andrews.
Breaking ball that's in the dirt. Looks like here we'll see it down, but Brian McCann once again, that's 2 in a row where he was late getting down. You see that ball going in the dirt, you're thinking about getting those knees down, and he got them there. Just a little bit late when it was all said and done.
Second wild pitch of the inning for McCullers. So again, runner in scoring position, nobody out for Mazara. 1-2, and Mazara goes down on the curveball for the first out. Adrian Beltre, the leader of this team, is back. And that is huge for these Texas Rangers. He likes to have fun, but oh yeah, he's also an incredible player. And speaking with Jeff Bannister, what he does, he lengthens this lineup. He provides protection for Nomar Mazara. I mean, look at this. You've got Joey Gallo now batting in the 7th spot, Napoli batting in the 8th spot, and Beltre, since returning, is hitting .400 with a home run and 3 doubles. And the first pitch is down low for ball 1.
Yeah, this Rangers team is very excited to have Adrian Beltre back, and he has been in the dugout a decent amount of time while he was on the DL, not the entire time, and so it's always nice to have him around. Yes, he changes the offense. He's a glue guy in the middle, a special kind of hitter, but he also means so much to this team inside the clubhouse, the relationships that he has with so many of the players. Elvis Andrews, of course, I think it's well documented how tight those guys are, but veterans matter. Just ask the Houston Astros, who added a bunch this past offseason, and Adrian Beltre's presence was missed.
Jeff Bannister said he's basically the big brother of this team. 1-1 curveball, that was nasty. 1-2.
Well, it's a tight breaking ball too, right? We think about curveballs a lot of times, and they're usually going to be in the mid-70s, maybe upper 70s. This is 87 miles an hour off a really good fastball, and high velocity fastball. I mean, almost has slider type speed to it, but it is tight and it is hard. The McCullers curveball.
The 1-2. Ground ball to Correa. Andrews got a good break. He went to third. They get the out at first. 2 away. Runner on third. So now can Rougned Odor come through the 2-out RBI, hitting .203 with 7 home runs and 23 RBIs. Elvis Andrews had the RBI single to score Shin-Soo Choo, who led off the inning with a single. Curveball, did he go? He did not, says Ted Barrett at third base.
These Astros hitters know, as you see the numbers there for Odor and the great start that he got off to, and some of the struggles over now the last 48. But these Astros pitchers know that they got a chance to try to get Odor to chase. You saw the first pitch breaking ball. They did some of that to him last night as well. Dallas Keuchel did. And then people asking questions, well, what's the difference between Odor from last year, this year? Well, you start digging in some of those numbers. His chase rate is actually slightly improved. It's never going to be a great number, but it's about the same. He's actually had some bad luck on the balls that he has put in play, right? We talk about that number a lot, batting average on balls in play. In is his way down. Take a look at this pitch here. Breaking ball. Trying to go. Wow. Trying to go in, missed away. And I think Brian McCann did a nice job of fooling Angel Hernandez.
1 ball, 1 strike. The count to Odor. Rolled over, foul. 1-2. So here's the tough part now if you're a hitter. You know McCullers loves his curveball. And he gets the majority of his strikeouts on the curveball. But he's also got that 98-mile-per-hour fastball. So to sit curveball, it's tough to do that. You're always taught sit fastball and adjust.
I think you're always adjusting anyway with 2 strikes. I don't think you can ever sit on a pitch with 2 strikes. There may be some hitters that feel like they can guess their way through at bats, but 2 strikes, even though the game has changed in the regard of there's always big swings now regardless of count, I don't think you're necessarily sitting on anything. You're still battling. You're trying to fight off tough pitches until maybe you can get one that you can handle. But it's when it becomes important really to study a guy's patterns and what he likes to do in these situations.
Well, he went with a curveball, got him swinging. But the Rangers get to McCullers in the first. They get 1. We're through 1, and it's 1-0 Texas. By sprint works for me, and that right there might just be working for me.
That's an appetizer for you.
The boomstick. Apparently, it's a 2-foot-long hot dog. I'm just saying, CJ. You know, I had lunch around 12:30 or so. It's now 6:40 local time. I see a lot of onions as Carlos Beltran leads off here in the second. This team down 1-0.
There's no way you haven't eaten in 6 hours. I don't buy that for a second.
No, it's true. I mean, I did have a cookie.
All right.
Beltran 246, 6 home runs, 18 RBIs. And he takes the pitch for a strike. That was a changeup up high for a high strike. Carlos Beltran played the last half of the year. Last year with the Rangers, came over in the trade from the Yankees and signed with the Astros in the offseason. Lone inside.
Carlos Beltran is a really interesting study for me as far as players as they get older. You know the production is going to come down a little bit, but also the value that they bring in. I think some teams are starting to recognize the value of veteran leadership. We were starting to get away from that a little bit. I've talked to enough managers now where they feel like, you know what, that is actually something that's missing in the game. As it gets younger and we move away from older players, you got some guys that need veteran leadership, and Carlos Beltran right now is providing that for the Astros.
Beltran to right field. That's not quiet. That's upper deck. Home run for Carlos Beltran, and he has tied this game up at 1.
Carlos Beltran still has it, as you see it there, crushing this ball to right field. And for Andrew Kasher, he has been very good at keeping the ball in the ballpark. This is just the 5th home run that he has allowed all season. But look how badly he missed his spot on that 2-seam fastball. He's trying to throw this ball away. He leaves it down and in. That is a sweet spot for many a left-handed hitter. And Carlos is no exception as he deposits that one into the upper deck here at Globe Life.
7th home run of the season for Beltran. 1-1 ball game, and here's Marwin Gonzalez. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. Marwin Gonzalez, 308, 12 home runs, and 34 RBIs. This time on the inside corner, Gonzalez having a conversation with Angel Hernandez. A lot of players have conversations with Angel Hernandez. By the way, it's the 11th straight game for the Astros with a home run. Outside with a changeup, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The veteran leader. Remember, Carlos Beltran was with the Astros, and he had that unbelievable postseason run. And he had come over from the Kansas City Royals. Gonzalez up the middle, played perfectly by Elvis Andrus. 1 away. So Carlos Beltran now with 428 career home runs, trailing Cal Ripken Jr. by 3. He just moved past Hall of Famer Mike Piazza for 49th all-time.
And that's a trend that we may see continue for some of these stars. Mike Piazza, Cal Ripken Jr. retiring not that long ago. With the way that home runs are going in the game right now at a record pace, you're going to see some big names that are going to start to get knocked down that list. It'll take a little while for some of these young stars to get there, but I think that's going to be a pretty steady trend for a while.
Brian McCann able to lay off that high fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. McCann, his numbers 250, 6 home runs, 25 RBIs. Ground ball to first. Napoli will take it himself. 2 away. A.J. Hinch in his 5th season as a manager. The job he's done with these Astros. His 2nd stint as a manager. Got a chance with the D-backs. Learned a lot after that experience and has really, I think he would even say, changed as a manager. And I'll be honest, we get a chance on these national games to sit down and talk with managers before the game. As Alex Bregman takes the first pitch for a strike, you won't find really 2 better managers to deal with than A.J. Hinch and Jeff Bannister. Bregman, ground ball to short, backhanded. And that'll do it here in the 2nd. But Carlos Beltran, the veteran, offseason acquisition, comes through here for the Astros. All tied up at 1 here in Arlington. By Budweiser, proudly brewed across America. This Bud's for you. Bottom half of the second, 1-1 ball game. Jonathan Lucroy, Joey Gallo, Mike Napoli against Lance McCullers. Gave up a run in the first. As DH Carlos Beltran got it back for him in the top of the second. And now he starts Lucroy off with a strike. Lucroy 258, 3 home runs, 13 RBIs. It was Lucroy who came over at the trade deadline, as well as Carlos Beltran last year for the Rangers. Inside, 1-1.
Lucroy was a guy who got off to a pretty slow start. We saw and showed what Ruben Odor had done very early in the season. Jonathan Lucroy was hitting right at 200 on May 1st. He's done a nice job of raising that average, just swinging the bat much better. And you're getting a chance to watch him a little bit more regularly this season. You see him does a really nice job with 2 strikes. Very difficult to strike out, but also does a very good job of spraying the entire field, especially late in the count.
And their first strike at 96, 2 balls and 2 strikes. McCullers keeps on shaking that right arm. The 2-2 goes to the breaking ball, slow ground ball to third, tough play. Bregman, the bare hand, and that's a nice play by Marwin Gonzalez to come off the bag and make sure he gloves it. It's an infield single for Lucroy, and a good job by Gonzalez saving a potential error.
I talked about how Jonathan Lucroy has done such a nice job of putting the ball in play. Alex Bregman, obviously a natural shortstop, but a third baseman here with the Houston Astros, trying to make that great play. The guy on the other side, Adrian Beltre, maybe one of the best that we've ever seen when it comes to those slow rollers, but the third base position still somewhat new to Alex Bregman. And listen, it was going to take a great play and make it happen for him, but he has struggled a little bit with some of his throws. I'm not saying that one in particular. You're asking him to make a great play in that spot, and it's do or die, but it's been a little bit of an issue.
Joey Gallo, first pitch, ground ball, second, only 1 play. That is to first for Altuve. Down to second base goes Lucroy. Here comes Mike Napoli. He's got some history with Lance McCullers Jr. Back on May 1st, he hit a home run against McCullers. And then later in the game, watch out, behind him.
Behind his back and high, and benches cleared. Now, no punches were thrown, but things got a little heated. You see Carlos Gomez coming in there later, and there had been 2 hit batters earlier in the game. Jose Altuve was hit, and there was a ball up tight to Gurriel. Lance McCullers felt like he needed to kind of take matters in his own hand. I will tell you this, though. I'm watching that game, watching that whole thing kind of unfold. If you're trying to exact revenge on somebody in that situation, then you should hit him, right? If you're the guy that got hit, right? You're on my team and you got drilled and you're like, hey, man, CJ, you got to take care of me, man, protect me. And then I don't hit the other guy. I don't know if I've done that for you and really kind of justify what happened to you earlier. So I didn't love that move up behind a guy, especially because it was up. You feel like you want to hit a guy, got to go a little bit lower than that. And then your teammates will tell you, I've seen it before many times over the course of my career. If you're going to hit him, hit him. Don't miss him.
No balls, 2 strikes. The count to Napoli. Goes up high with a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. How many times in your career did you have a teammate come up and say, I want you to drill someone?
I've never had a teammate tell me to do it. I've gotten the call. I had a couple of times from coaches say, hey, we need to hit a guy here. But I never had a teammate. You knew. It didn't take long. You stick around the game if you felt like you needed to knock somebody down or you needed to hit somebody because of what happened early and you felt like your guy got hit intentionally, and he, especially if it happens over the course of the season a lot, you get these guys like, hey, man, who's going to protect me? You'll hear guys say that kind of stuff in the dugout if they feel frustrated. But like I said, if you're going to do it, they want you to do it.
1-2, foul tipped into the mitt of McCann for a strikeout. Out number 2 here in the second.
Here's Lance McCullers going inside there to Mike Napoli. And probably the last pitch he was looking for. He tied him up a little bit.
So 2 away now for Jared Hoying. And obviously, there are 2 outs. we can all talk about what happened earlier this week when you talk about a guy getting hit. Bryce Harper getting hit earlier this week. The suspensions, the brawl that came about.
It's a good one. It's a good hair commercial too in slow motion, man. There was hair flying everywhere. But it was an interesting one. You know, I didn't agree with Hunter Strickland doing it.
I agree with you.
Thought Bryce Harper was justified in his reaction. But I get it. Listen, we all hold grudges in our lives. Doesn't matter if you play baseball and say, well, it happened 3 years ago. I can think of some stuff that happened longer than 3 years ago that I'm still a little ticked off about. So to say that you need to let that go and you shouldn't hold a grudge that long, you shouldn't. But it does happen. The second meeting now between Brian McCann, by the way, and McCullers as they're sitting here talking. And I don't think this has to do with hoeing necessarily.
McCullers wanted a new baseball.
Brian McCann have to hand deliver it? I mean, just throw it to him and you can do it.
He didn't trust Angel Hernandez.
But it was an interesting one, and I thought Bryce Harper was justified in standing up for himself. You know, the bigger story for that was, to me, what happened with Buster Posey and his lack of action in that situation. I thought was very interesting.
Well, it's no balls and 2 strikes. The count here to Jared Hoying. We are going to be joined in the booth by Pudge Rodriguez, and maybe we can ask Pudge about that, being a former catcher.
Let's put him on the spot.
Yeah. Although Pudge is built differently than Buster Posey. He steps in front of somebody, you're not going to get by him.
Not going to be easy to get around Pudge. I mean, he's built like a fullback for sure. So, I mean, the whole thing to me was interesting. And you know, some people saying, well, was it pre-planned? Did Buster Posey not agree with the hit by pitch? You know, who knows? But for me, and Buster Posey is a great ambassador to this game, great player. I'd like to see just at least a little bit of an effort. Fake it, something. He didn't flinch.
The 1-2 curveball got him swinging. A leadoff single goes for naught here for the Rangers. We're through 2 here in Arlington, tied up at 1. Initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. To learn more, go to playball.org. You see the players wearing the play ball patch on the uniforms this weekend, getting the youngsters involved. I love it. First pitch to Nori Aoki, in there for a strike. Aoki, one of the few players in Major League Baseball to wear the double ear flap batting helmet. .254, a home run, 8 RBIs. To shortstop, Andrews, one away. George Springer, 14 home runs on the season. He had 2 of those on Wednesday. Watch where this next one lands. 473 feet away from home plate. It's not home run derby.
Tremendous lean back from him, and then he gets a changeup last night from Dylan G. And Rangers fans would like to tell you that that was a Ranger fan that made that catch in center field. It was not.
I never knew you were such a big hip-hop fan. Lean back.
That's the lean back, buddy.
Man, C.J. Nikowski just dropping the knowledge right now.
Old school, just like the double ear flapped helmet.
He grounded out to short his first time up. Big swing.
And it's consistent. He's such an interesting guy, but I think he is somewhat kind of the poster boy of what we see now in the trend of the game. Swing hard all the time, no matter what. Yeah, you're going to rack up some strikeouts, but you know what? Executives don't seem to care anymore. It's not going to cost you as long as you hit your home runs the way that he does. Everything's going to be fine. George Springer is a guy who's really fast twitch, swings really hard, and he can get streaky. When you get these kind of hitters, this is what you start to see. 4 of his last 6 games now where he's got 5 home runs. The streakiness will really appear in these kind of hitters. There's a lot of them now in the game.
Up and in, 3 balls and 1 strike. The count here to Springer. Josh Reddick on deck. Reddick, line drive, center field, base hit. On a 3-1 count, hacking away. And he's got himself a single. Beginning June 15th, the greatest players in the world descend upon Erin Hills for one of golf's most anticipated events of the year. Dustin Johnson looks to defend his title, but Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, and Rory McIlroy are primed to tame golf's ultimate test and be crowned America's champion. The 117th U.S. Open begins June 15th on Fox FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Down low to Reddick, who flew out to left field his first time up. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Missing with a breaking ball, now 3-0 to Reddick. Andrew Cashner actually gets better with runners on base. With runners on, opponents hit 129 against him. But he just issues a 4-pitch walk to Josh Reddick.
You see the numbers there and how good he has been in these situations. He gets even better when those runners start to slide into scoring position. Him and Yu Darvish have been kind of 1 and 2 for most of the season when we look at that number of batting average against with runners in scoring position. Not that you want to be there, but it is nice when you have guys that can make the pitches they need to make and do a really nice job of getting themselves out of jams. And Andrew Cashner has now found himself in one here in the 3rd inning.
Those numbers you mentioned with runners in scoring position, it's at 0.79. Well, he's facing a runner in scoring position right now. George Springer at second, Reddick at first, Jose Altuve at the plate. And this is the danger zone right now for Cashner. You've got Altuve, Correa, Beltran coming up. And Altuve fouls it off his foot, 0-1.
Yeah, and a bunch of different things here, right? Andrew Cashner's been good with the double plays, gotten 10 of them this year, even though he's not a huge ground ball. He's got a respectable rate, slightly above league average, but you got a really good runner here in Jose Altuve. And so the double play, unless he hits the ball hard at somebody, maybe not nearly as likely. The other thing, too, I think that works maybe a little bit in his favor, Andrew Cashner does, is that Altuve is a very good high ball hitter. He has absolutely crushed fastballs that are up. So the idea of keeping it down, locating it well, something that might help out. And this guy hits, his average is good in a lot of places, but he's particularly strong up high.
Behind the count now 0-2 is Altuve, who singled his first time up. 1-1 ball game, top of the third. It was a 7-1 victory last night for the Astros to make it 8 in a row. Also 8 straight road wins for Houston. In the air, right center field, going back is Hoying. He will look up and play this one off the wall. And because of the runners having to hold, Springer is only able to get to third base. So the bases are now loaded with 1 out. And that might be the longest single you'll ever see.
Oh, we just talked about the high fastball and how good Jose Altuve is against it. And Andrew Cashner elevates a fastball, and you can see it right here. This is why he hits better than 400 on fastballs up and away. This is some interesting base running here, though. And not a great read by George Springer. I mean, he was thinking about, okay, well, if Jared Hoying catches that ball, I want to tag, but I want him off the bag a little bit further. I'm not worried about him tagging there. I want him scoring, and at least for now, Andrew Cashner has caught a break.
I agree with you. If he's halfway, he scores on that easily. Now Carlos Correa struck out looking his first time up, comes up with the bases loaded here. The American League Player of the Month for the month of May, who hit .386 with 7 home runs, and takes the first pitch for a strike and 26 RBIs in that month. Cashner really has to dig down deep right now. No grand slams in the young career for Carlos Correa. Had a big 3-run home run last night against Yu Darvish. Down low, Correa looking back like, you better not call that a strike.
There's a part of him that thought that maybe it would get called, and Angel Hernandez, of course, you never completely know.
Now Cashner calls out Lucroy. This is the home run last night for Correa off of Yu Darvish.
It was a slider in a 1-1 count, and Correa all night had shown that he would chase the breaking ball below the zone. But again, another guy that swings really hard. If you give him a break and give him a chance with something in the zone, you're asking for trouble. And he cashed in on a slider that was not in the location that Yu Darvish wanted it last night. You talking about those grand slams? I know you like this one. I saw this today go across from Aaron Goldsmith, of course, who does a bunch of games for us here at Fox and calls Rangers games, Mariners games. Taylor Motter, 2 grand slams in his last 95 at-bats. 2 combined grand slams for Pete Rose and Derek Jeter in their careers with 25,000 at-bats.
Yeah, but how many hits does he have?
Not that many. Not 7,000 or whatever these 2 guys have combined. But I thought it was interesting that Pete Rose and Derek Jeter, only 2 grand slams between them. That's fascinating.
The 2-1 from Cashner. In the dirt, good stop by Lucroy. Now 3-1. So here's the interesting thing, right? You've got a guy in Carlos Correa who is looking for a pitch to hit right now. Cashner says he's got to go with his best stuff. His best pitch is the fastball. 3-1, you're looking fastball. Bases are loaded. Carlos Beltran on deck, who put one on the upper deck his last time up.
Got to throw the fastball here. You saw what he did to the off-speed pitch. He threw it for a strike. You're asking for trouble.
3-1, puts it through the hole on the left side. 1 run will score. Reddick being held up at third. RBI single for Correa. 2-1 Astros.
I mean, there's not a lot you can do. You talk about being in a tough spot, bases loaded against a very good and hot hitter, Carlos Correa. And yes, you have to go to the fastball, and that's exactly what Andrew Cashner does. And it is elevated enough for Carlos Correa to get a good swing on it, hit it hard, find himself a hole, and an RBI.
Doug Brocail out to speak with Cashner. The bases are still loaded. But just one out, and Carlos Beltran at the plate. And this is what's different about this Astros team. And speaking with A.J. Hinch before the game, I loved it. He said that he in the front office knew they needed to change the personality of the offense during the offseason. That's why they went out and signed Carlos Beltran. That's why they went out and signed Josh Reddick. That's why they got Brian McCann in a trade. They knew they needed to keep the offense moving. It wasn't just wait for the home run anymore. And he said last night that inning for the home run for Correa started just innocently with 2 outs. Well, now it starts here with a single by Springer on a 3-1 count. Then a walk to Reddick. Altuve hits one to the wall in center field. Now 0-1 here to Beltran. 1 run already in. And the bases are loaded. And a chance for the Astros in this potent offense to bust it open. In the dirt, 1-1.
That was a big ad and an important ad for the Astros, and not just the fact that you have a guy like Carlos Beltran doing what he does offensively, what we saw with the big home run, but the fact that you have a guy that you can go to that cares. Some people make the assumption, oh, you just throw a veteran in the clubhouse and that's going to help, and he's going to answer questions and everything's going to be fine, and that's going to give you the veteran leadership. Not every guy's into it. Not every guy's like, yeah, I want to be that guy. Some guys just want to play, but Carlos Beltran is a guy who studies the game, pays attention to the game, understands the details of the game, and likes to share them.
Beltran to right field, another base hit. They're going to wave Altuve around. Here comes the throw. It's cut off. A 2-run single for Beltran, and the Astros now lead 4-1.
You get so worried about the home run with the Houston Astros, and because they've shown much power over the course of the season. But how about 4 singles and a walk now? The last 5 batters that have come to the plate, second time around the order. He's been all singles and that walk, no extra base hits, and that's really the thing you worry about with this offense. And Andrew Cashner right now getting peppered with some singles.
A.J. Hinch, he said, contact is your friend. Put the ball in play hard, and that's what they're doing right now. Now Marwin Gonzalez grounded out to short his first time up. Runners on the corners, 1 out. 3 runs already in the inning. And the first pitch, fastball's in there for a strike. Already action in the bullpen for the Rangers. Nick Martinez begins to throw out there for Texas. Eight straight wins by these Astros, looking for their 40th win of the season in the 56th game of the season. And this gets by Lucroy to the backstop, and coming in to score is Carlos Correa. A wild pitch by Andrew Cashner in the 4th run of the inning, and down to second base goes Beltran. That's the 3rd wild pitch of the game that we've seen. 2 by McCullers and now 1 by Cashner.
You watch this pitch, off-speed pitch down and in, but bounces way in front of the plate. Jonathan Lucroy does everything he possibly can, but that's not an easy one to block by any means. And these 5 runs now through 2 1/3 innings match a season high allowed for Andrew Cashner.
Gonzalez back up the middle. Odor able to glove it, keep it in the infield. That will save a run. Beltran has to stop at third, but it's an infield single. Another single in the inning. That's the 5th single in the inning for these Astros. They've got 4 runs in the inning, and still just 1 out, and Brian McCann coming up. McCann, a ground out to first base, his first time up. Andrew Cashner, his last outing on the 28th of May at Toronto. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. That snapped a 5-game losing streak for these Rangers. It also snapped a personal 18 straight road starts without a win. And now he's come out. He was staked to a 1-0 lead. after 1 inning. And now he's fallen behind 5-1 here in the third. One ball, one strike, the count here to McCann. McCann pops one up center field. Hoying is there. Beltran shows that he's tagging. He's not going anywhere as this bounces off the mound. Second out.
Third baseman Alex Bregman.
2 away now, and Alex Bregman, the 9th hitter of the inning, steps to the plate. Bregman grounded out to shortstop his first time up. The inning opened up with a ground out by Nori Aoki, the shortstop, then a single by Springer, a walk to Reddick, a single to the wall in right center field by Altuve. Correa the RBI single, 2-run single by Beltran. A strike here to Bregman. Marwin Gonzalez the infield single, a fly out to center by McCann. 4 runs here in the inning. And the next pitch will be number 30 in the inning for Cashner. There goes Gonzalez from first. The pitch is in the dirt, and Gonzalez takes second easily.
You think about this inning, you go through it, and we keep talking about, well, it's only been singles. It's been the 1 walk. We look at the counts, too, right? Springer was a 3-1 count. Correa was behind the count 3-1. Then you had 0-2, and you had your opportunity, and Andrew Cashner left the pitch up, and Jose Altuve was able to get it. So it's been the combination of not being able to get ahead, but then when you are ahead, unfortunately for Andrew Cashner, not making the pitches that he has needed to make. And with the way that this offense has swung the bats lately, you're just not going to get away with very many mistakes.
And what's crazy is we talked about the numbers with Cashner, how good he is. There you have it. With runners in scoring position. Entering today, 3 for 38. Tonight, 4 for 5. Then again, this Astros team is just off the charts right now hot. I mean, they put up 40 runs in a 3-game series at Minnesota. 40 runs.
And I saw that stat where they went 30 for 40 with runners in scoring position in that series. That is absurd.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The count to Bregman. 2 men in scoring position. The 2-2. Got him looking. But 4 runs in the inning for the Astros. When we come back, we'll be joined by the Hall of Famer, Pudge Rodriguez, right here in the booth.
So we're all enough that both faded love and let's all dance. If you're gonna
third here in Arlington. It's now a 5-1 ball game. The Astros lead the Rangers. Shin-Soo Choo will lead things off against Lance McCullers. Choo singled and scored back in the first for Texas, and he takes the first pitch. Low and outside for a ball, and we are joined here in the booth by the Hall of Famer Pudge Rodriguez. It's an honor to have you up here. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, buddy?
DJ. How you doing, buddy?
Breaking ball by McCullers there for a strike. Pudge, there's so much to talk about. One thing, first of all, congratulations on the Hall of Fame honor.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
it was great. You know, it's been a great ride since I got the call in January. You know, it's been a little busy, but I call it good busy.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've been doing some traveling and just enjoy every single moment.
And we got to see some video of you getting the call and the emotion that followed, man. I mean, we only get to watch, but I mean, what is that like? I mean, we all believe that the call was coming. I know it's got to feel a little bit different for you. You assume it's probably coming, but I guess you never completely know. But this was that moment back on January 18th where the fist was up, but you were excited. I mean, tell us what that is like, man. There are so few, obviously, to get
well,
to
you know, that call is, you know, obviously is the best call I ever received in my life, and you know, I didn't, you know, it was like 30 minutes before we, you know, been announced, and you know, that I got inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, and you know, I was in one of my good friends' house in Mike Alec in Dallas, and it was made that the kid that just hugged me first was my son. Is my son Derek. He's played for the Twins right now in professional level, and it was great. You know, it was all my family there. And, you know, the good thing is that I got the call.
Yeah.
If John Blay has the call, that wasn't a good call.
So the real question is, you're already wearing a tie. Were you expecting the call? Because as CJ said, we were expecting the call. I mean,
well, I got the tie on, but I didn't have it all the way off. No, well, you know, I just dressed for any time. You know, after I got the call, you know, John Blake has everything set up here at the ballpark with the media and all that. But believe it or not, I didn't know that I was inducted into the Hall of Fame into they called me at 4:30 in the afternoon.
So now, if you started to kind of take yourself through that day in Cooperstown, that moment, you got to stand up in front of everybody, man, make that speech, and are you going through it yet?
The speech is ready. I've been reading it. I've been going over it every day, and it's gonna be a great day. I mean, I'm gonna enjoy every single minute, every single moment of it, and you know, I'm gonna be in Cooperstown a week early, so I'm just gonna be there for the whole week and enjoy every activity that's going to be there.
Pudge, we just showed some of the numbers over your career, and I grew up, and actually being here at the ballpark at Arlington, what I first remember watching on TV was you here at this ballpark and seeing the white fences out there in center field and just watching you behind the plate and throwing balls, not even at second base, just back to the pitcher. But what amazed me, my brother grew up as a catcher, and so we watched you so carefully. You came up as a teenager. What was it like catching major league pitchers as a teenager? Because there haven't been many catchers who have been teenagers.
We see this every day here at this level right now. I've been so many young kids.
Yeah, but you were 19.
Talented. Yeah, but I think, you know, I have some great advices in my career. You know, when I came up in 1991, I mean, I get into a team. And you got great play.
Wow, that was a nice play.
That was a nice play. You know, I came up in '91, and we have to remember that my teammates at the time was Nolan Ryan, Bobby Witt, Kenny Rogers. You know, name it. Great pitching staff and position player. You're talking about Julio Franco, Rafael Palmeiro, Ruben Sierra, Juan Gonzalez. I mean, Steve Buchel was part of the ball club at the time. So they teach me, you know, the game of baseball very quickly. They teach me to be a adult at really such a young age, and I think that was the key for me.
So, okay, you come up as a 19-year-old, right? You're catching. and Nolan Ryan is pitching. Are you putting down signs, or is he telling you what he's throwing?
Well, the first time I caught, I catch Nolan, the meeting, and which is, I'm going to mention that in Cooperstown in July, because that's part of one of my stories that I'm going to talk about, of course. That was me, I didn't speak the language, well, and pretty much nothing. And me and Tom House and Nolan came in to a meeting, and basically the meeting was 2 minutes. That was the time of the meeting. Nolan came in and looked at me and said, "Kid, look, this is what you need to do. Today, you're going to be behind the plate, and you're going to put fingers down, and I'm going to throw the ball to you." That was the scoring report. I'm not kidding. And he threw 8th inning, almost threw a no-hitter, and I think put those fingers down works pretty well.
Well, I know you've done this before. Every catcher does it, right? You put down a sign, the pitcher shakes you, you put it down again because you really want the pitcher to throw that pitch. Could you ever do that to Nolan?
Well, I've tried always. I don't know, but one of the key to me as a catcher, I always love to call the fastball. Always love to call the fastball. I always love to use the fastball at least 70 to 75% from the starting pitcher. I think that is the pitch to me that the pitcher can throw it for strike and get ahead in the count, and then the secondary pitcher comes with the slider, breaking ball, or changeup, or whatever other pitch that the pitcher has. So when I catch him, when I work with Nolan, basically Nolan throws 98 at the time. He's no other time than put one down and just throw it in and out. So he loves to throw the fastball. So we always working with the 75 to 80% the fastball with Nolan.
We just had 5 straight strikeouts by Lance McCullers. I was hoping for a walk right there because I could sit here and talk to you about this all night long. Pudge, thank you so much. Congratulations for everything.
You're the man, brother. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I've seen a lot of places.
Anthony will have 35 seconds to steal third base and make it back to the left field game. Here's Anthony.
Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball, and by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Nori Aoki leads things off here in the 4th, takes the first pitch for a strike from Andrew Kastner. Aoki led off the 3rd, grounding out to short, and then things unraveled for Kastner. How cool was that, just talking to Pudge? I mean, I know you deal with him all the time now when you're covering the Rangers for Fox Sports Southwest, but man, just reminiscing and hearing those stories.
Yeah, I was really disappointed Lance McCullers not playing along with the quick 3 strikeouts.
I mean,
yes,
give us a walk, Lance. Do something.
He's fantastic, and he also does some of the TV work here. And you see some notable players that have played for both teams. I mean, let's talk about it. Left to right, it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if it's necessarily in the right order from greatest to worst, but I mean, let's be honest with each other. When you think Astros Rangers, you think Nolan?
That rolls into the camera pit. So Aoki will be rewarded second base. It's going to be a hit and an error charged to Rougned Odor.
See Odor ranging far to his right and does a good job of getting to this ball and throw up the line, and Mike Napoli unfortunately not able to stop this baseball. Would have taken a great play and a perfect throw, and even then Aoki may have been safe.
I mean, I wasn't kidding when I said I could have sat here all night and just talked and heard stories about him. Springer fouls one away. There were times, I kid you not, watching him when it looked like the pitcher made a pitch that he didn't like where the location was, or a batter fouled it back, or he got a new ball and he would throw it back to the pitcher harder than the pitcher threw it to him.
No doubt. I mean, I played with Pudge for a little while here in Texas and had the pleasure of throwing to him. I'm not sure he would use that same word to describe what his experience was like, but
ground ball to third. Beltre, easy play.
But he's a great catcher. I mean, that's he could hit. We all knew he could hit. And there's certain catchers I think we've seen that get hit that kind of caught, right? It's rare that you actually got the guy that did it on both sides of the ball, and he may be the best we've ever seen that has done it on both sides of the ball. Certainly up there with any of the greats, and that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. But tremendous hitter. But the arm, I mean, that was the thing that stuck out. Yeah, he could hit, but everyone always talked about his prime, the arm. And just watching him gun down hitters left and right. And it's interesting to hear him talk about wanting to use that fastball the most. That was always something people would say about him is, hey, he likes to call a fastball, likes to call a fastball, which also made it a little bit tougher to steal on him.
Ground ball to first base. Napoli to a knee. Down to third goes Aoki, 2 away. It all starts here, the 2017 Major League Baseball Draft. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. Eastern, Monday, June 12th on MLB Network and MLB.com. I mean, there were other questions I would have loved to have asked. Guys like, I mean, he threw out so many players, but who was the one guy he always wanted to throw out and did? I mean, he threw out Ricky Henderson. Heck, he threw out Ricky Henderson to end a game.
He's thrown out some of the best, and you know, when you have a rocket arm the way that he does, but it's also great. It takes more than just the arm, right? It's the footwork, it's everything else. You need a little help from your pitchers keeping guys close, but that was what was so cool about him as well is he could make up for slow pitching, right? We talk about a lot of times stolen bases when you steal them off the pitcher. He could actually make up for some of those guys that were slow to the plate.
Altuve takes one inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Jose Altuve is 2 for 2. I said in his first at bat, all this guy does is hit. He came in batting .322. They list him at 5'6". He's hitting in the 3-hole at 5'6". There haven't been many guys in the history of baseball who are 5 feet 6 inches tall and hitting in the 3rd spot in the lineup. Doing some research earlier today. By our calculation, by our research, the last one to do it came back in 1974. As many games as he has hit in the 3-hole. And that was Walt Williams. Walt No Neck Williams for the Yankees.
You know, when Pudge was talking, you brought up too about some of those great teams that he played on. I hated coming through here those years, 99, 2000, 2001. The year that Pudge hit 35 home runs, that was good for only 3rd best on the team when Juan Gonzalez hit 39 and Rafael Palmeiro hit 47. Lee Stevens had 24 that year, as did Todd Zeile. Those guys could absolutely slug. It was not fun for opposing pitchers. This is a good ballpark to hit in, always has been, but didn't matter. Those guys absolutely crushed. 4 guys with better than 100 RBIs.
3-2 ground ball to short. Andrews makes the play, and the Astros strand a man at third. When we come back, Adrian Beltre will lead things off here for the Texas Rangers as they trail here 5-1. Lance McCullers has struck out 7 in the game and 5 in a row as he faces Adrian Beltre leading off here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. 5-1 Astros leading the Rangers. They won 7-1 last night. Beltre grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Now 6 for 16 since coming off the DL. Oh, 2.
By the way, I mean, we're only through 3 innings here so far, and Lance McCullers now with 7 strikeouts through 3 innings, just 3 short of his season high, 4 from his career high.
Correa, that's short. That snaps the streak of 5 strikeouts in a row. But it's 1 away here in the 4th. The Astros offense gets all the highlights, but how about the 1-2 punch at the top of this rotation with Dallas Keuchel and Lance McCullers Jr.?
That's dominant, and you talk about having a legitimate 1-2 punch and how important that is in the postseason, especially in those short series first time around. And right now, the Astros have that. Both of those guys look pretty excited in those pictures, yelling a little bit. But how about the rest of the rotation? You saw the numbers there on the back end, and that's really the concern. If you start to look ahead, you're running this club, you're saying to yourself, one of the concerns for me would be, okay, do we have enough in the back end of the rotation to really carry us through a series, especially once we got into a best-of-7.
Rougned Odor struck out his first time up.
And add on top of that, you brought this up earlier, and I believe it's a legitimate concern. Do you have Lance McCullers for the whole year? Right, his innings and what he has done over the last couple of years, missing time last year with a couple of injuries. He's not a 200-inning guy right now, and so I got to believe the Astros will start thinking about ways, should they find a way to maybe pace what he's doing? Do you back off at some point? They have a great lead, but look at last year and this year and where he is, and even 2 years ago. I mean, so that 157, that's a career high. You don't want to push too much there. I mean, 165, 170 heading into the postseason is probably on the high end, maybe, and that might even be pushing it a little bit.
Well, he started 11 games. He's gone 65 1/3 innings coming into tonight's game. Ahead in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes right now. Now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes, and you know it brings up that whole conversation because everyone in today's day and age is saying, oh, you got to protect the arms, you got to have innings limits and this and that, and what does it really prove, and does it really protect the arms, and what, when you have an opportunity to win a World Series, I'm for one who says go for it. The 3-2. Odor able to stay alive, and I go back to that Nationals team with Steven Strasburg, and they limited his innings. Have they gotten even a sniff of the World Series?
No, and he's been injured since, right? It guarantees you nothing. Now they're in a pretty good spot this year, but they haven't been able to advance.
Sanchez last year at Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, here's the thing, though, and I'm with you, but at the same time,
ground ball. Gonzalez unable to handle it. Had to be a quick transition because the slow roller. Let's see what they're going to rule this. McCullers was covering. It's going to be a base hit for Ruben Odor.
but think about some of the history too. I mean, Matt Harvey, right? They tried to be very careful with him. There was that whole big deal about how much you want to let him throw, and then he was fighting to go back out for the 9th inning in Game 5 of the World Series, and that turned into a debacle. He's been hurt and hasn't pitched well since. You also have Lance McCullers, who spent 2 trips on the DL last year, one for his elbow, one for his shoulder. Now, nothing major, but enough where he was missing some time, and you try to dig in a little bit. So you know what? He's a high-intensity guy. He goes hard. There's a lot of emotion when he pitches, and he throws a ton of those breaking balls as well. So there's a lot of factors. There is no perfect answer to how you handle a situation. But at the same time, you look at him, and I would say, yeah, I'd want to be careful with those innings a little bit. It's a special arm, special pitcher, and there's some things there that tell me I want to pace this thing out. I'm not going to just risk. I'm not going to throw caution to the wind necessarily just to try to get that ring.
Okay, so there are some thoughts. We mentioned this at the top of the show. The lead they have coming into tonight's game in the American League West was 12.5 games. They're playing such good baseball. 12.5 games here on June 3rd. In the hole, Correa, the long throw across. Gonzalez, the tag. They got him on the shoulder. What a play on both ends. Correa and Gonzalez right there to get Lucroy.
Well, Carlos Correa does a great job of getting to this ball as we see him kind of going through his throwing motion. But this is all Marwin Gonzalez and making the adjustment. You see the throw there is up the line and high. And Gonzalez does a good job, one, of getting off the bag, then making sure he caught the ball, and then finally making sure that he was able to put the tag on Lucroy. So this is a great play all the way around for Marwin Gonzalez. I look pretty close on that tag. We're not going to see a replay here, but man.
Lucroy never ever argued.
Yeah.
2 outs. And Joey Gallo. Big swing and a miss. 0-1. But anyway, the point is this. Do you try, because you've got this big lead, to back them off a little bit? Or at the trade deadline, do you not just acquire 1 starting pitcher, but have to acquire 2 starting pitchers?
They may have to. I mean, I think that 1 is definitely on their radar. 2 may be a possibility. Chris Davinsky's done a really nice job for them in that bullpen role, but he has started in the past. But I think he's too valuable in the back end of the bullpen, or even bridging the gap sometimes from the starter to the setup man. So that's probably not the right option. They do have Paulino that they could insert in there, but the good news for them is that they're winning, they're playing well, and if they do decide, you know what, like to skip a start or 2 and try to get a break in there, they have the comfortable lead right now where they could do that. But that doesn't guarantee you anything either. That's the thing. It's not an automatic that just because you stop and start a guy, he'll be fine.
In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes. 12.5 game lead over the Angels, 13 over the Rangers. Running away with it here on June 3rd are the Astros. McCullers looking for his 8th strikeout. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Largest divisional lead since 1969 on June 3rd. Trailing only the 2001 Mariners, who, oh, by the way, set the record for most wins in a season.
116 wins that year. Ultimately end up losing in the ALCS.
Outside, now 3-2 to Gallo.
We'll see. We'll see what the Astros ultimately decide to do. I think you brought up the Strasburg situation with the Washington Nationals. They were the first ones that kind of have to figure out how to do it, and everyone saw what they did and said, yeah, we're not going to do that. That's not the way we're going to do it. So everyone tries to figure it out, give the guy a break, give him some time off, but there is no perfect formula, so we'll see how the Astros decide to handle it.
3-2, strikeout number 8 on the night for McCullers. We head to the 5th, and the Astros lead 5-1. Top of the 5th, 5-1. Houston trying to make it 9 in a row. Carlos Correa leading things off. First pitch swinging, fouls one out of play. We've had some defensive changes here for the Rangers. Joey Gallo takes over at first base for Mike Napoli. In left field, Ryan Rua comes in. Rua is going to bat in Napoli's position in the order. We'll have to get an update on Napoli.
Interesting. That was Joey Gallo's first start in the outfield since 2015. Did not last very long as he goes now over to first base. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. There's a pause here. I don't know what's going on, but everyone's kind of looking up toward the scoreboard. Something going on in the outfield that we're not aware of.
That pause allowed us to let you know that it was back spasms from Mike Napoli. The 0-1 from Cashner to right field, and right there is Mazzara, one away.
Designated hitter Carlos Beltran.
Here comes Carlos Beltran, who's had himself a nice night. A solo home run, a 2-run single back in the 3rd. The switch hitting designated hitter. He was a younger player, one of the premier center fielders in all of baseball. Pulls, Off the glove of Gallo into right field. Beltran takes a turn, a wide turn. He's going to hold up at first. And Joey Gallo, who had played third base in the absence of Adrian Beltre, now playing first with Mike Napoli out, gets tested right away.
He gets that tough in-between hop on a ball that was hit hard for Joey Gallo, and everything is different. Different glove, different side of the infield. The ball is going to bounce different, come off the bat a lot different when you're on that other side. And from third base to first base, not an easy adjustment. A lot of people just kind of make the assumption that first base is an easy spot, should be an easy transition. That is hardly the case for any player, but especially for a young one in Joey Gallo, who does have 2 starts at first base this year and 3 over the course of his short career.
It's going to be a single for Carlos Beltran, is now 3 for 3, brings up Marwin Gonzalez. Infield single his last time up, also a stolen base. Made that beautiful play at first base to tag out Lucroy. And he takes the first pitch for a strike. Give Cashner some credit. That third inning was rough for him. Gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. All the hits singles. Able to stay in there. At the very least, try to give this Texas team some length. No one outside. That third inning, 33 pitches. The Texas native, Conroe, Texas, 40 miles north of Houston. And that is under Carlos Beltran into right field. Back-to-back hits here by the Astros. Again, singles. First and second. One away here in the 5th.
And you mentioned how Cashner's done a nice job of coming back. But let's take a look first at this ground ball that was right at Carlos Beltran, and the old man getting up and showing some reflexes there. But I mentioned in the beginning, we talked about what would be a key to the game for the Houston Astros, taking what you're given. Andrew Cashner does not allow the long ball. He did miss with that one spot where Carlos Beltran was able to take advantage, but they have done exactly that, which is taking what has been given by Andrew Cashner, driving the ball the other way. A lot of singles, even though these guys swing hard all the time and take pretty big swings. They've done a really nice job of getting their base hits so far in this game.
McCann looking for his first base hit, 0 for 2, a ground out and a fly out. Back this way. Nick Martinez is back up and throwing in the bullpen once again for the Rangers.
And this is interesting because Nick Martinez has been in the rotation for the Texas Rangers. You mentioned his second time up. Now, guys that they use in long relief, Dylan G has been in that bullpen, but he pitched last night. He's not available tonight. And then they had Austin Bibbins-Dirk, a 32-year-old rookie who had been there long way, but then they inserted him into the rotation. So all of a sudden now there's been some struggles here with the starters, and Jeff Bannister has used multiple long men, and so Nick Martinez now taking on that role today.
And of course tonight Tyson Ross is making a start, a rehab start in Round Rock. They started just at 7 o'clock, just about 50 minutes ago. And if all goes well, we could be seeing Tyson Ross in the rotation next week. McCann, pop up, Beltre. Infield fly rule is called. 2 away. Weeknights on FS1 after all the action on the diamond. The best team of analysts in baseball gets you caught up on a full night of action around the big leagues on MLB Whip Around. Weeknights 11 Eastern on FS1 or watch it live on Fox Sports Go. Got to be honest, CJ, this is the best year the show has ever been.
Hard to argue, buddy. These guys are killing it this year. They got rid of the old curmudgeon talent, brought in some new, young, fresh faces. And the guys are getting it done. I will tell you this, though. They did, in all sincerity, did a fantastic job. You and I were just talking about the San Francisco Giants and Buster Posey's situation with Bryce Harper, of course, Eric Karros, Mark Sweeney, Kevin Burkhardt were working that night. Man, those guys killed it. Did a really nice job. They continue to do a good job. You guys would be smart to check them out weeknights at 11.
2 away now for Alex Bregman. Fastball misses inside for ball 1. Bregman is 0 for 2. He struck out looking his last time up. 1 of 2 strikeouts in the game for Andrew Kashner. Changeup misses. 2 balls and no strikes. In their first strike, 2 balls and 1 strike. So this lineup for the Astros, it's balanced, it's deep, 7, 8, 9 hitters. That's how good they are. First in all 4 of those categories. Bregman to third. Beltre. A little cat and mouse game there. A hug. That's respect by the veterans. We go to the bottom half of the 5th, 5-1 Astros. Carlos Beltran, Lance McCullers Jr. the story in this game thus far for the Astros. 8 strikeouts through 4 innings for McCullers. And Carlos Beltran is 3 for 3 with a home run and 3 RBIs. Ryan Rua leading off in Mike Napoli's spot in the order. Again, Napoli left with back spasms, so Ryan Rua hitting .202, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. And CJ, kind of going back to our discussion from the last inning when McCullers was on the mound, you wonder if Houston can even build a bigger lead. If this is one of those opportunities where the Astros take him out to save those innings.
Again, and it does make sense. You'll say, would you try to keep those pitch counts down? Absolutely. You think about the longevity, but the issue, of course, is that it just doesn't guarantee you anything. And so I think that's what the temptation there is for A.J. Hinch. Now, yesterday, last night's game, he thought he took out Giles, I thought a little bit early, and you've got to believe he's thinking about him as well, all of the starters for that matter. But you're certainly not going to pull up this early in the season, regardless of what your lead is. So there's a balance in there somewhere, and A.J. Hinch and the Astros will continue to have those conversations and monitor each guy, and they'll figure out how they can get this thing done and keep everybody healthy.
A leadoff walk here to Ryan Rua. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by the Lincoln Continental. A walk to Rua, and now Jared Hoying steps in.
And the other thing I think you got to keep in mind too is you sit there and you feel like, man, we've got a nice lead, you know, kind of want to keep the pedal to the metal a little bit and continue to extend it. The Rangers certainly expect to get better. You just showed Tyson Ross, Adrian Beltre just got back. You got Cole Hamels sitting on the DL, expecting to get him back. Carlos Gomez. I mean, there's some big names in this organization right now, guys that are missing time. Get everybody healthy, get everybody back together. There's a chance maybe to still make a run at this division. So certainly the Rangers are thinking that way, and the Astros are thinking we don't want to give anybody any breathing room and a chance at this division. They certainly remember what happened in 2015.
Ground ball to second. Altuve goes to Correa, who misses it.
It's a long look from Carlos Correa back to Jose Altuve out at second base. I'm kind of curious what that look was about. We'll see this throw right here. And yeah, that throw was fine. So that's all on Carlos Correa, who just flat out missed it. Now, there is a chance that he was thinking maybe with the lead that Altuve was going to go to first base. The ball took him in that direction, but that was a throw and a good one that was on the money, and Carlos Correa just missed it.
It's a fielder's choice, E6, and it's first and second, and Shin-Soo Choo at the plate. I mean, that was just flat out dropped by Correa. And the pitch count at 78 here for McCullers. Inside at 95 for ball one. Choo single back in the first, scored on the RBI single by Elvis Andrus, struck out in the third. That was part of the 5 Ks in a row by McCullers. There's a curveball, 1 ball and 1 strike, and Lance McCullers has said it. It doesn't matter the count. I will throw my curveball in any count.
And it's a good one. Now, this is a little bit unusual as he starts to get away from what we've seen him do since even the start of last year. His fastball, he'll use it a lot against those left-handed hitters. He is not tonight. Just 8 of his pitches so far have been fastballs to left-handed hitters. You usually see a lot more than that.
Choo to center field. Springer coming over, dives and makes the catch. Tagging up, going to third base is Rua, but a great catch in center field by George Springer.
Now batting the shortstop, Elvis.
And how about this? This will be our Falcon Grip the Moment, which is sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. And George Springer goes full extension now. He ends up back in dead center field when it's all said and done because there was a heavy shift on. But we know this guy is a great athlete. He makes a tremendous play in a big situation. That ball gets down, and you're looking at a double easily, and probably 2 runs come across for the Rangers.
Rua tagged up, so now runners on the corners with 1 out for Elvis Andrus. first base, Rua at third. Andrews struck out 2-3 his last time up. There's a fastball for a strike at 96. What I thought was really interesting about McCullers, talking to him about his pitches, he said with his fastball, he pitches to thirds.
Absolutely. Your ability to break up the plate, depending on how good your command is important.
Well, here's Andrews getting one. Nice play by Springer to cut it off, but it doesn't matter. This is going to score 2 runs and make it a 5-3 ball game. Elvis Andrews comes through with a 2-run double.
We talked about it earlier and how important Elvis Andrews has been to this offense, especially with the absence of Adrian Beltre earlier in the season. He gets a breaking ball that Lance McCullers wanted away, but he left it out over the plate, and George Springer sprinting after this ball. And you don't see a center fielder dive like this on a ground ball every day. This is a nice play by him to even maybe consider possibly making this a close play, but not when you have Jared Hoying running, who is a very good runner. He scores very easily. See the excitement there from Elvis Andrews as he tries to get this Rangers offense going.
All of a sudden, the tying run at the plate, and Nomar Mazara. And the fastball is outside. So just when it looks like the Astros are coasting along, and you've got a guy in Lance McCullers Jr. on the hill, who's the May American League Pitcher of the Month, had an ERA for the month at 0.99. He has given up 3 runs here. And he's behind in the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Mazara with Adrian Beltre on deck. His pitch count at 86. Three balls and no strikes. An 8-game winning streak for the Astros. They've also won 8 in a row on the road. 3-0 taking all the way. Mazara thought that was a ball, took off the elbow guard. And he's got to put it back on.
I'll tell you this, Nomar Mazara's got a good case here against Angel Hernandez, and every once in a while umpires can get a little bit lazy on these 3-0 counts. That ball is up. It looked to me like it might have been slightly off the plate. Nomar Mazara certainly felt confident. I mean, look where Brian McCann's glove starts and where it ends up finishing. That's a tough call, but the 3-0 count, umpires have a tendency to get a little bit more liberal. Don't tell me Angel Hernandez is making that call on an 0-2 count. No chance.
He looked back, strike. 3-1, that's outside, ball 4. Second walk of the inning by McCullers. And it's first and second, 1 out. And here comes Beltre.
I couldn't read Nomar's lips, but it looked like he might have said ball 5 as he was walking away from Angel Hernandez right there. But he gets his walk, and all of a sudden now the Rangers are in business.
Brent Strom comes out, the pitching coach for the Astros. How do they want to deal with Adrian Beltre? Last night, 9th inning, Beltre in just his 4th game off the DL.
By the way, that wasn't just any fastball he squared up. That was Ken Giles, upper 90s fastball, one that'll touch the triple digits. And I got to believe that that felt pretty good for Adrian Beltre. He has missed being in uniform and being in this lineup as much as his teammates have missed him.
A big moment in the game right here. Bottom half of the 5th inning, 1st and 2nd, 1 out, 2 runs already in. An error by Carlos Correa has proven to be costly. And Adrian Beltre at the plate, the cleanup hitter. And there's a curveball to start him off. 0-1.
That was a good one, too, as McCullers put that on the corner. A lot of times, younger pitchers will get in this situation. They go, okay, well, I can just throw a curveball here over the plate. You got to be very careful in RBI situations to veteran hitters. You cannot just flip a curveball or any off-speed pitch just over for a strike. They'll be hunting that pitch early anytime there's an opportunity to drive a run in.
Fouled back on the fastball. No balls and 2 strikes.
There's Davinsky now warming up in the Astros bullpen. Has been so good. And this has been a good bullpen, by the way, in Houston. But that guy has been particularly invaluable as far as what he has done in these kind of situations. He could be setting up for a lot of teams, be a steady 8th inning guy. You'd even feel comfortable letting him close.
0-2. Misses outside. 1-2. A deep breath by McCullers. Beltre stays alive. Again, the majority of the strikeouts from McCullers comes on his curveball. Beltre in his career with runners in scoring position, over 1,000 RBIs. That means you've played a long time and you're pretty darn good. Another 1-2 by McCullers. Up high, 96. All right, so that's a high fastball. Changes the eye level, sets up the curve.
The breaking ball certainly would be a good pitch here. Again, it's Adrian Beltre. Now, Brian McCann wanted this to be a strike in on the corner. It elevated a little bit higher than necessarily they were trying to do. But, yeah, absolutely. The breaking ball is a good pitch here. But, again, you got a great hitter in Adrian Beltre, so it is not always that simple.
There it was. And that was close. Beltre spun away.
Tell you what, you see Lance McCullers walks way far off the mound afterwards. Now, this is not where he wanted this ball. You see Adrian even turning in as if he was going to try to turn that into a hit by pitch. But just because you don't hit your spot doesn't mean that it's not a strike. I think he believed that one was a strike.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, first and second. The 3-2 ground ball in the hole. Here comes Andrews. He's going to score. RBI single by Beltre. 1-run ball game.
How about the great at-bat here by Adrian Beltre, the veteran, the future Hall of Famer. Let's take a look at it pitch by pitch. And it starts off with a breaking ball that goes down for a called strike and a fastball that is fouled off. So it is quickly 0-2. A ball there. How about a changeup here? At 90 miles an hour, fastball that just misses up, and then it's a breaking ball that hangs, and then another breaking ball, a better located hand, but Adrian Beltre does a fantastic job of getting this ball and hitting it in the hole, and just like that, Lance McCullers' night is over.
May was great for McCullers. June, not so much. Pitching change here in Texas. single knocks out Lance McCullers Jr., and that brings in Chris Devenski. 3-3, a 2.81 ERA in 32 innings, 9 walks, 48 strikeouts. This is his 20th game, and he inherits runners on first and second with 1 out, and Rougned Odor at the plate.
It's not too often you can bring a guy in with that kind of strikeout rate, 13.5 per 9 innings, and use him in the 5th inning. A luxury here for A.J. Hinch.
And the first pitch is fouled away. McCullers, the pitcher of the month in May. His first outing in June, 4 1/3, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, but he is responsible for both men on base. At one point, he struck out 5 in a row. It looked like he was cruising, and then he found trouble here in the 5th.
And that's the go-to pitch, by the way, for Devenski, a changeup that he uses 41% of the time. You don't see relievers usually with the big strikeout rates that will use a changeup as much as he does, but it's a good one that he has. The fastball will sit around 94 miles an hour, touch 95, 96 at times. But it's fastball changeup, but it'll also mix in an occasional slider.
Big swing by Odor, trying to give Texas the lead. 1-2.
So as much as we talked about the young, aggressive swingers on the Houston side, Rougned Odor is absolutely one of those guys as well. Does not cut it down. He'll hit it the other way once in a while, but it is big swings all the time, big situations, tons of aggressiveness from this lefty.
One, 2, got him swinging at 95. Out number 2 here in the 5th.
This is just a good fastball that gets set up by the earlier changeups. It was back-to-back changeups to start this at bat, and when you know this guy and the pitcher you're facing has that good changeup, it's always in the back of your mind a little bit. And even though it's a good fastball at 95, it looks a lot harder than that after you see changeups earlier in the at bat.
2 away now for Jonathan Lucroy. Singled in the 2nd, infield single, and a nice play by Marwin Gonzalez on the throw by Correa in the 4th. He waves at that one, 0-1. The Astros trying to maintain this 1-run lead right now. 3 runs in the inning for the Rangers. It all started with a leadoff walk to Ryan Rua. Those leadoff walks, they come around to score seemingly all the time.
It happens a ton, and you know the walk was one thing. Of course, you never want to lead off an inning with a walk when you got that lead, but then he bears down, he gets the ground ball that he wants, but that's when the error happened, and Carlos Correa just flat out missing that ball. So you got 2 on, nobody out. Took a great play by George Springer, the next batter, right against Chu. The ball to dead center. This inning could actually be worse for that play.
Another changeup in there for a strike, 1-2. The error by Correa, just dropped a ball on the throw from Jose Altuve. Mazara at 2nd, Beltre at 1st. The 1-2 to Lucroy. Just foul tipped it.
It's a challenge here for Jonathan Lucroy, who is so good in these spots when he gets 2 strikes, puts the ball in play nearly 60% of the time. That's 2nd best in all of Major League Baseball. He is that good with 2 strikes, but fastball change of a combination right here. Not an easy one, again, from a guy who strikes out better than 13 per 9. So Jonathan Lucroy has certainly got his hands full here against Devenski.
Another 1-2. Popped up. That'll reach the seats. I like the tape on his bat. American flag.
The Vulcan grip American flag. The first time I saw that, I said I gotta have it. Found one on Amazon, ordered one for myself. Well, I shouldn't say that. I originally ordered for my child, one of my 2 boys, I haven't been able to turn it over to him. It's too cool, and I'm trying to figure out if I can put it on my tennis racket. They're like, hey, when am I getting that? I'm like, maybe never.
Happy Father's Day, early Father's Day to yourself. The 1-2 again, and again it's spoiled. This time a 96-mile-per-hour fastball.
You can see Jonathan Lucroy doing the best he can to fight these pitches off, and really, you got to think about that changeup in the back of your mind, but trying to shoot the ball to right field as well, which creates a little bit of an interesting situation for Marwin Gonzalez as far as how far do you play up first? Do you think about trying to keep a runner close in that situation? You don't want to get too big of a lead, but at the same time, Jonathan Lucroy is going that way, so you play off the bag with the idea that you're going to give yourself a little bit more room to defend.
Got him with the changeup to end the inning. But Elvis Andrus with a 2-run double. Adrian Beltre RBI single. The Rangers are back in it. It's a 5-4 game after 5. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay, and by AT&T. And look at that, AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Top of the 6th inning here in Arlington. Andrew Cashner still out there facing Aoki. First pitch, skies one to right field, 1 away. And time for a game break. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt for the first time in LA.
Center fielder George Springer.
All right, thank you very much. Here in Arlington, the score is 5-4. Astros lead the Rangers. George Springer bats with 1 out, 1 for 3, a single, a run scored, and 2 groundouts. Who would have bet that Andrew Cashner would be the starter still in the game and not Lance McCullers Jr. here in the 6th inning?
Absolutely. I mean, the way that this game was going, it looked like it was going to be an early night for Andrew Cashner, who's done a really nice job of keeping the Texas Rangers in this game. And how about the faith that his manager puts in him, where he allows him to go back out there now facing the top of the order for the 4th time around. Andrew Cashner's done a really nice job. If he can get through this inning, I got to believe, as we see Doug Brocail, the pitching coach there, but both Doug Brocail and Jeff Bannister would be thrilled.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Warming up in the bullpen. Jose Leclerc just activated off the DL yesterday for the Rangers.
That's been a welcome sign for the Rangers. He surprisingly has been very good for them in their bullpen. I say surprisingly, they knew they had the good arm, but they didn't realize they were going to be able to count on him in such big spots so early on.
Springer inside outs, one down the line, inside the line, and Springer can run. Hustles into second base as Mazara gets it back in, a 1-out double for Springer. And that's one of those at-bats that I'm sure will bring a smile to A.J. Hinch's face.
Yeah, that's a pitch that is located well down, outer half of the plate. And that's just a little short swing. We don't see those very often from George Springer. He was full, but he does a nice job at least of keeping his hands back a little bit so he can get enough of the barrel on the baseball to poke it out into right field. And I love the hustle out of the box, too, because he is thinking, he knows he's got the double. As soon as he hits that ball, he knows it's an easy double. He's thinking a base ahead. And if there's any pause there, if Nomar Mazara bobbles that ball, George Springer would have been headed to third.
1-out double brings up Josh Reddick. Reddick walked and scored back in the third. Flew out to left, ground out to first, and he takes the first pitch changeup for a strike.
Josh Reddick is a very good low ball hitter, especially against the fastballs. He is a guy that Andrew Kachner certainly can elevate against. See a fastball, it's up right there. And Kachner's game is to work that ball down. A lot of those two-seam fastballs, but sometimes you got to adjust accordingly. Look at some of the numbers for Josh Reddick over the last 2 years, going back to 2016. Big batting averages on fastballs, middle and down, both outside and in.
Ground ball, shortstop Andrews will make the play. Going down to third base goes Springer. Well, next Saturday, it's a great day for baseball on FS1 and here on Fox. It all starts with the Royals battling the Padres at 4 Eastern on FS1. Then on Fox, you can watch the Orioles take on the Yankees, the Tigers, and the Red Sox, White Sox, or Indians. Check your local station for the game in your area.
Tell you what, those two guys right there. I mean, I'm thinking about who I got. If I got to pick two MLBers to come with me to a fight, Aaron Judge and Chris Davis are probably near the top of the list. There were a couple of big dudes we had in that promo.
So you go from a couple of big dudes to now the guy at the plate, and Jose Altuve.
Interesting conversation there as Jeff Bannister, the manager, went out to talk to Andrew Kachner. Could be about maybe we don't let Jose Altuve beat us right here. Be careful. I got a spot I want you to try to go to see if you can get him. Or he's saying, hey, go right at him. I believe in you. I'm confident in him.
Well, he goes right at him, and he grounds out to short. So how about Kachner? He battles his way through 6 innings, keeps his team in the game, and his team trails by 1. 5-4 ball game. Astros on top of the Rangers. The Astros looking to make it 9 in a row. Chris Davinsky on the hill to face Joey Gallo. And the first pitch misses low and outside for ball 1. Gallo at the plate, 0 for 2, a ground out and a strikeout. Justin Kutcher alongside C.J. Nitkowski here at Globe Life Park. Ground ball first base, Gonzalez. He said, "I'll take it myself." 1 away. Vote today, vote tomorrow. Vote for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. Vote at MLB.com/vote and catch all the excitement of the 88th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11th live on Fox. Will Carlos Correa be there? Elvis Andrus?
I mean, the shortstop position in the American League, my goodness. Francisco Lindor, Xander Bogaerts is having a really nice year. Good luck with that one.
Ryan Rua takes the first pitch low and outside for ball 1. He walked and scored in his only at bat, leading off in the 5th. He was the first batter that McCullers faced in the 5th. You know what's funny? Lindor is leading. Correa's behind him for the American League shortstop position. You mentioned Xander Bogaerts. I think he's the guy who gets forgotten in the young shortstop category.
Without a doubt. And, you know, a guy who has not shown a lot of power this year. He did last year. I think he had 21 last year. He's only got 2 so far this year. We take a look around the league and what's happening in the American League with some of the voting now. Manny Machado not having a great year, right? I mean, he's a great player and a popular player. Good personality for the game, but he's not necessarily having the great year. But yeah, there's some good shortstops that get overlooked. Anderson Simmons is still the best defender, I think. Glove man, without a doubt, in the American League. But Bogaerts, Lindor, Correa are probably your top 3. But I mean, Elvis Andrus last year had the best on base among the group. And he's a guy I think it starts to get forgotten a little bit with some of the new young guns that are in the big leagues. It's good for us, though. As fans, it's great.
It's awesome.
I mean, we're so deep in that position right now. It's a lot of fun. Same thing in the National League.
3 balls, 2 strikes. The count here. Rua puts one through the hole by that shortstop, Carlos Correa. A 1-out single for Rua. Been on base both times.
Ryan Rua, of course, comes into this game because Mike Napoli had some back spasms, and within 2 at-bats, he's found himself on base twice. First with the walk last inning, and now with the base hit here in the 6th.
One out now for Jared Hoying, reaching the fielder's choice. That error by Correa, his last time up, came around to score on the 2-run double by Andrus. Shows bunt, pulls it back, takes the pitch for a strike. Shift is on here with Hoying at the plate.
Still a lot of room, and thinking about bunting for a hit, potentially very tough right-handed pitcher with a good changeup, tough on lefties. If Jared Hoying was feeling it, you get a bunt down. With his speed, he'd easily make it to first. It's so nice for A.J. Hinch. Talked about Davinsky having that really good changeup. How about lefties hitting 111 against him? I mean, that's coming into this game, and that's significant at bats. 54 of them on the season.
Ground ball, Altuve. Little backhand flip to second. This time they get the lead runner. For out number 2.
Designated hitter, Shin-Soo Choo.
2 outs now for Shin-Soo Choo, who was robbed of a base hit by George Springer his last time up.
so interesting too for me when you watch Davinsky throw. Watch him when he picks up that front leg and how much he opens up. Right, that front leg actually goes toward first base. They always taught us a pitcher kind of, general mechanics. Always want to drive everything to home plate. Then there's the whole Jake Arrieta story, right, where he's actually throws across his body. It's unusual to watch a pitcher actually open up. Greg Holland does it. Right, where you lift up that front leg and it actually starts to open up a little bit. It kind of goes against everything you'd want to do as a pitcher when you think about using your lower body to help you deliver velocity and to be consistent. But it's one of the cool things about pitching, man. There's always some quirkiness in different deliveries where guys can still get incredible results.
1 ball, no strikes here to HOU.
Now let's take a look at it here. Oh, never mind. He threw over first.
We can look at that, though, if you want.
Yeah, there we go.
I mean, he really opened up.
He did. Really went way toward first base a lot with his front foot on that one. And he's getting swarmed by bugs right now, it seems like, too.
What is this, 2007 in Cleveland? There goes Hoying. Throw down by McCann. And Hoying was able to keep his foot on the base. A stolen base for Jared Hoying, his second of the season.
Jared Hoying, a good runner, and does a nice job here, stealing a big base, trying to get in scoring position with 2 outs, and takes off. And maybe you don't get to see it. There it is. There we see the slide. Good job head first slide, getting that left hand in, but a quick base runner and a guy who is filling in right now for Carlos Gomez and getting some significant playing time. But you see how close that is, and we talk about jumps all the time, how important that first step is, and everything that goes along with base running. Jared Hoying just gets in there, does a really nice job.
So 2 balls and no strikes, and a base hit here could tie this game up at 5. A 2-0 changeup, 2-1. Another changeup, another strike, 2-2.
Now the highly anticipated mechanics of Chris Davinsky. You watch his foot come up here, but you see him as you watch that front foot, it really starts to open up. A little harder to tell from that angle. You can see it though, even when you're watching him from the center field camera from behind. Very interesting delivery that he has. But like I said, really works for him. The deadly fastball changeup combination that he has.
2-2, misses low and inside. One the fastball there. 3 balls and 2 strikes. First base open. You go back to that changeup here?
Against the lefty, I would, yes. I mean, he's that confident in that pitch. It has been that good. Either one. I mean, he's got a good fastball as well. But HOU is a good hitter. He's a good on-base guy. He's got a very good eye. I go with my best pitch. That's a tying run out on second base. Best pitch that I'm most confident in. If that's a changeup tonight, then I throw the changeup.
3-2 was the changeup, got him looking. The Rangers strand a runner at second. Baseball Night in America will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Baseball Night in America on Fox. The Lone Star Series, our game summary brought to you by Budweiser. Carlos Beltran 3 for 3, a solo home run, 3 RBIs. The Astros got 4 runs on 5 singles in the 3rd inning. But Elvis Andrus has been big for Texas. The new pitcher is Jose Leclerc in for the Rangers. Fresh off the DL, a 2.31 ERA, facing Carlos Correa. And Leclerc essentially replaces Sam Dyson, the former closer. And that's a big story. CJ, you've been around this team. Carlos Correa 1 for 3, had the RBI single back in the 3rd, but the fact that Sam Dyson is no longer with the team. I mean, this is a guy who was the closer to start the year. It's a major issue for the ball club.
It was, and he got replaced by Matt Bush as the closer at one point. Then they slid him down. First he went in the DL for a little while, and then slid him into a lower leverage role, at least for a little bit. And he had a really good game a couple of nights ago, Sunday Night Baseball, where he absolutely looked filthy. The best that the Rangers had seen him all year. You see the numbers there, what happened with him this season. He was touching 98 miles an hour, had a bunch of strikeouts, but that had really kind of been it. He was really struggling to get going. A lot of the movement, we know that he was a big sinker closer. A lot of the movement was getting a little bit horizontal. The command was off, and Sam Dyson still has a lot of good baseball left in him. And I think the Rangers truly believe that. Sometimes teams will tell you that kind of stuff after they release your trade, you let you go, whatever it may be. I think the Rangers know it. They just felt like it wasn't going to happen here. Maybe a new look for Sam Dyson will kind of get him back to where he was. But just it wasn't happening for him this year, but there's still a lot left in the tank.
Essentially 10 days to work out a trade for Dyson. You know some team is going to try to do something.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I think the Rangers are pretty confident that they'll be able to trade Sam Dyson. And like I said, hopefully for the Rangers' sake, he doesn't end up with a team that comes back and haunting them. It's always your worst nightmare as a general manager, and it does happen a lot in our game. But they felt like they needed to make a change. That roster spot was valuable to them, and unfortunately it was time to move on from Sam Dyson.
Alex Claudio in the bullpen. The 3-2 to Correa. Got him. Good pitch by Leclerc. 1 away.
So you're going to see this pitch from Jose Leclerc, and you're going to think, well, look at this slider. It's pretty nasty. It's actually changeup, and it cuts like a slider and looks like a slider. And this guy does something very unique where he intentionally cuts his changeup to right-handed hitters so that it will dive away. I haven't seen it very often in the game, and usually you would say, well, I cut my changeup, it was a mistake. Well, he actually does it on purpose, and it's been very effective so far this season.
Carlos Beltran. Odor gets to it. The throw to first. They got him. Nice play by Beltran and by Odor and Leclerc to get Beltran.
These are not easy for pitchers by any means, and they're not a lot of fun. You work on it in spring training, but the 4-1 play, the pitcher runs a long way, and you know that. Oh, let's see a replay on this one, but you know that the throw's going to have some heat on him because you have to hurry. We'll see here, Jose Leclerc. Let's see whether or not he got his foot down on the bag or not the first time, but you see him getting over and does a nice job of breaking down, slowing down, make sure that he is at the bag. No, I think he was there.
Yeah.
It was there, but he wasn't sure, and so he kind of wanted to double check, and he put his foot back down. But that is not an easy play for a pitcher by any means. You got to break down, you got to stand there. You can't run through the bag like you do all those other times. So you're sprinting over there, and you got to stop, and you got to catch a bullet from Rougned Odor all at the same time. And a lot of pitchers will tell you they run on their heels, and you start seeing that ball shaking as it's coming in a little bit. It doesn't look that clear, and you're thinking, man, just please don't hit me in the face with this throw.
So here's Marwin Gonzalez ahead in the count, 1-0. He's got a couple of singles his last 2 at-bats. In the month of May, he hit .382 with 7 home runs, 22 RBIs. A.J. Hinch, he said, honestly, he could have been the player of the month. Just that Carlos Correa, he's got the bigger name.
That's what he said. Yeah, what do you say? If he was more popular or more famous, he might have been the player of the month, and that's the kind of month that the Astros had from multiple players in this lineup and how good they have been. This offense has been an absolute juggernaut.
Two away here in the seventh. 5-4 Astros leading. Jose Leclerc in. Two balls and one strike.
Jose Leclerc really has slid in and become a very important part of the bullpen. They knew when he was gone, he was missed. And what's so fascinating about that was he was not a guy coming into spring training that was necessarily expected to make the team, but he had such a nice spring. Really got his control under control. The walks were an issue. Marlon Gonzalez right now struggling a little bit with that hand grip, the way that he reacted after he swung. But
on that foul ball, something happened, trying to shake it off.
I don't think this ball hit him or anything like that, just the way that it felt on his hand. So fastball might have came in a little bit heavy.
Wonder what this swing will look like. Go back inside.
Absolutely, you go back inside.
Couldn't check.
Anytime a guy does that or something with his hand, or he fouls the ball off his ankle and you have that good fastball, you know, it's not a dirty play. You just go back in there and you force a guy who you know doesn't want to get jammed, and you see the hesitation in the swing there for Marwin Gonzalez, and that's all about what happened on the pitch before. And your one part of your brain saying, don't worry about it, just swing, and then there's the other part of the brain saying, hey, this might hurt a little bit, be careful. And that's why you got that awkward swing from Gonzalez.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Another check swing. Ted Barrett says nope, did not go. So 3-2 the count.
There's that changeup again. And
just take that hand off.
Marwin.
No.
Marwin's telling him no. Jose Leclerc is asking for a check on the umpire. Great theatrics here between these two so far in this at-bat.
He just went Matumbo on him.
Not in my house.
Breaking ball taken for ball 4. A 2-out walk worked by Marwin Gonzalez.
I think Jose Leclerc wanted this one as well, and you see that thing spinning in there and looked like it might have caught the inside of the corner, but Gonzalez with confidence flips that bat and walks down to first base.
2 outs, and now here's Brian McCann looking for his first hit. As a team, the Astros have 11 hits. McCann, a ground out, a fly out, and a pop out. Lance McCullers Jr. said in regards to guys like Brian McCann and Carlos Beltran that they're 2 of the best teammates he's ever had. How they're in so early, how they do all this work. They're watching video. Brian McCann, I'll tell you this. A couple years ago, I had Yankees at Braves. McCann's first trip back to Atlanta since he left them. Ground ball to first. Gallo will step on the bag. All the media guys came around to talk to McCann. McCann knew all their names and was asking about their families. That's how good of a guy he is. 5-4 stretch time here in Texas. Spicy, crispy Zinger chicken sandwich. It's finger licking good. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Back here at Globe Life Park, here in Arlington, Texas. It is a 5-4 ball game. A new pitcher into the game for the Astros. As they lead by 1, it's Luke Gregerson. 2-1, a 5.66 ERA, and 20 2/3 innings pitched. 8 walks, 23 strikeouts. He'll face the heart of the order, Andrews, Mazzara, and Beltre. Getting you caught up on what has taken place so far tonight. In the second inning, Carlos Beltran against Andrew Cashner went upper deck for a solo home run. That tied the game at 1. Lance McCullers Jr. got off to a really good start. The American League Pitcher of the Month for the month of May. At one point, struck out 5 in a row. He struck out 8 in 4 innings, but then in the 5th, got into some trouble. Elvis Andrews with a 2-run double. The Rangers scored 3 in the inning. This being the 3rd run of the inning, courtesy of Adrian Beltre. That made it 5-4, and that's where we are right now in the bottom half of the 7th. And the first pitch to Elvis Andrews is taken for a strike. Andrews, 2 for 3, 3 RBIs. Make it 3 for 4. A leadoff single here in the 7th.
Right fielder, Nomar.
Josh Reddick has moved from right field to left field. Jake Marisnick is now in center field. And Springer is in right field.
This is a pretty common occurrence, and even though we saw a really nice play by George Springer, a couple of nice plays, right? Diving to his left in dead center field, making a really nice play, then cutting that ball off that we just saw actually in that reel in our game recap. They still feel more comfortable with Marisnick in center, George Springer in right. They feel like that's their best defensive alignment, and so as they get late in the game with a lead, a close game like this, they prefer to have Marisnick in center, Reddick in left, and then George Springer now in right.
Mazzara takes the slider for a ball. 2-0. Mazzara is looking for his first hit. He walked his last time up. Slow roller, first base. It'll be a foul ball. Gonzalez picks up in foul territory. 2-1. 7th inning this year has been notable, both good and bad, for these two teams. For Houston, good. For Texas, not so good.
Yeah, some of those issues point to what has happened in the bullpen, right? You had mentioned earlier Sam Dyson and moving on from him, and so there had to be some reshuffling in the bullpen, and so for a little while they were having some issues in the 7th inning and controlling the runs scored against them. I feel like they got it straightened out now, especially with Jose Leclerc that is where they want him. That is kind of the money spot for him, and he did a really nice job on the top of the 7th.
Runner takes off. Mazzara fouls it back. Elvis Andrews has 12 stolen bases on the season. He had a good jump.
Not surprising either, because you see the swing there from Nomar Mazzara. Jeff Bannister has not been afraid to hit run, especially with Elvis Andrews, whether he's hitting or actually running. This is something they do a pretty decent amount. You won't see a lot of that, I think, in the game as much as you used to, because there's so much swing and miss, and there's so many guys that take those big swings, and sometimes there's been some criticisms about the fundamentals, just in general, big picture of the game these days. But Jeff Bannister not afraid at all to put that hit and run on.
Andrews not going, and Mazzara swings and misses this time for the first out.
Third strikeout of the night for Nomar Mazzara, and you see the breaking ball located well down. Nomar, good job keeping eyes on the ball, but just swings right over the top, way out in front. With a good off-speed pitch from Gregerson. By the way, is one of, this is crazy, this bullpen. He is one of 6 relievers that they have on this team, at least 10 games pitched, that has a better than 10 strikeouts per 9 rate. That's crazy. I mean, they lead Major League Baseball as a group when it comes to their strikeout rates. It is a luxury for A.J. Hinch.
Adrian Beltre, RBI single his last time up. And he takes the fastball up high for ball 1.
Now Brad Peacock is included in that group of 6. He's now been moved into that rotation, but just lots of strikeouts coming out of this bullpen for Houston.
Will Harris, and it's a ball against Gregerson. That will allow Elvis Andrews to move down to second base.
Well, unfortunately, in baseball, you can't drop the ball when your foot is on the rubber. That is considered a balk. Remember a couple years ago, was it Johnny Cueto in the postseason? That's the Pittsburgh Pirates. I can't remember, he dropped the base while they were doing the Johnny chant, right?
Yes.
If you drop the baseball, even though you're not set and hadn't come to that set position just yet, if your foot is on the rubber and you drop the ball, that is a balk.
So now a runner in scoring position, the tying run. 1 ball, no strikes to Beltre. And he swings and misses at the slider. That was the first career balk in over 500 career innings for Luke Gregerson, and it was because he dropped the ball.
It's a tough one. I mean, righties obviously don't get called for the balk too often unless you don't come set. Try that balk move once in a while, but he's now filled up the column, right? Went from 0 to 1.
Another slider, misses low and outside. 2-1. He just made his job a lot more stressful.
It's bad enough facing Adrian Beltre. He's been so good. We showed the numbers earlier. How good he's been now with runners in scoring position over the course of his career. And the idea of just allowing Elvis Andrews to go down to second base on a balk certainly turns up the pressure a little bit more on Gregerson.
Inside, 3 balls and 1 strike. On deck is Odor.
You want to be very careful. Obviously, again, Adrian Beltre at bat, Ruben Odor is on deck. Now, again, Odor has struggled here a little bit this season, but he's still very dangerous. Still has really good power, but the idea of being a little bit careful. You never want to put the go-ahead run on base on purpose. But at the same time, if I'm Luke Gregerson, I'm not necessarily giving in to Adrian Beltre in this situation.
(3-1). He doesn't give in, goes back inside. He walks in with first base open, so it's first and second, 1 out. And Odor coming up. And here comes A.J. Hinch, and there is the call to the bullpen. Will Harris will be coming in to replace Luke Gregerson. Bottom half of the 7th, runners on first and second, 1 out, 1-run ball game. Odor coming up, and Harris is coming in. 17 returns with fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. Learn more at RBI.com. Will Harris is the new pitcher. 101, a 2.38 ERA, 22 2/3, 3 walks, 23 strikeouts. And he faces Rougned Odor. By the way, RBI Baseball, my favorite game for Nintendo when I was a kid.
It was a good one. And you'll see here from Will Harris, lots of cutters, 71%. The rest of it's going to be curveball, so it's cutter, curveball from Will Harris.
There's the cutter, missing inside for ball 1. Trying to get one in on the hands of Odor.
We know that the Astros are kind of a non-traditional team, I think, in a little bit. And we know they're ahead of the curve, and they have been at the forefront of advanced metrics. You think, well, wouldn't you want to go to a lefty here? Well, I mentioned Davinsky and the great numbers he has against lefties. Will Harris has been very strong against lefties as well so far this year. 211 batting average against, 7 strikeouts, just 1 walk.
The numbers for Odor against Harris.
That helps too a little bit as far as making that decision, but throwing out some of the traditional kind of left-right matchups that we see often in the game.
Foul tipped, 1-2. A.J. Hinch went to the bullpen in the 5th inning. Went to Davinsky. And Davinsky got the job done against Odor, struck him out, then Lucroy out. With runners on 1st and 2nd. Similar situation here. Runners on 1st and 2nd, 1 out, and Odor at the plate. And it's still a 1-run ball game. And he gets Odor swinging. 2 away.
Well, we mentioned it's just 2 types of pitches that you get from Will Harris, and that's what he used here. And starts Rougned Odor off with a cutter that just misses. Throws him another one, gets the swinging strike, and then here come the breaking balls. One there that Odor is able to foul off, and then another one that he is not able to get contact on. And this is a good pitch. That is legitimate 12-6 from Will Harris. There is no side-to-side at all on that breaking ball as it goes straight down, and Odor swings right over the top of it.
Now it's up to Jonathan Lucroy. 1 for 3, infield single, a ground out, and a strikeout. And that cutter catches the outside corner for a strike. The Astros on an 8-game winning streak, 39-16. The Rangers 26-29. On the inside corner, really good pitch. And now Harris wants to speak to Brian McCann.
Well, here's the deal. When you have that ball that has that natural cut the way that Will Harris does, you throw what looks like a fastball on the inside part of the plate, but the movement brings it right over the corner. Brian McCann did not even have to move his glove, didn't have to try to sell that to Angel Hernandez. That ball finished exactly where he wanted it and did catch the inside part of the plate. Tough pitch though on a righty, that front door cutter like that.
No balls, 2 strikes. Harris trying to get out of the jam. Started by Luke Gregerson. A single, a balk, a strikeout, a walk. Harris came in. Got a strikeout. The 0-2. Check swing. He did not go. 1-2.
It's a really good combination when you go fastball in and the breaking ball away. Jonathan Lucroy, I mentioned it earlier, so good with 2 strikes this year. Does an excellent job of laying off that good breaking ball from Will Harris. Now it's in your head, right? Going to the curveball again or the cutter. Tough as hitter. Even though it's only 2 pitches, you get down to 2 strikes and 2 effective pitches, ones that are covering both sides of the plate. He could throw that cutter away just off the plate, the breaking ball down and away again, or go back inside like he did with that cutter when he got the called strike against Lucroy in the second pitch of this at-bat.
Goes outside, misses, 2-2. Yeah, I think that front door cutter was so big because it showed that he can come inside with that pitch.
Every pitcher has to be able to do it. If you can't throw your best hard pitch, whether it's a fastball or a cutter, inside, the guys are just going to lean out over the plate all day long, and they're going to be very comfortable against you. Doesn't matter how good your stuff is. And so the ability to show that in absolutely sets up the rest of the at-bat.
Will Harris trying to work out of this jam. Inheriting 2 runners, the 2-2. Got Lucroy swinging. So just like Davinsky did in the 5th, Harris does it in the 7th. We go to the 8th with the Astros leading 5-4. For the Rangers, and because he wants a new ball from Angel Hernandez, that will give us time to let you know about his season numbers. 2-1 with a 3.15 ERA, 10 walks, 26 strikeouts, and 20 innings, and also a very good ping pong player.
Good, yeah. You get a chance to walk through the Ranger clubhouse. There's been some pretty competitive games of ping pong going on, but right now for Kell, it's about being competitive against your Alex Bregman. It's going to be another reliever with just basically 2 pitches. Fastball, curveball. You see 95 miles an hour there. He can run it up there even higher than that. It is a nasty curveball. How about this? Opposing hitters 1 for 34 on his curveball this year. Good for an .029 batting average against.
Fastball misses outside, 2-0. Five runs, 11 hits, 1 error for Houston. 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error for Texas. The Lone Star Series. The Astros trying to win the first 2 games of this one here in Arlington. That one is down the right field line, slicing foul. 3 balls and a strike to Bregman. Rare to see a changeup from Kella. Marisnik and the on-deck circle. And a leadoff walk here for Alex Bregman. Well, beginning June 15th, the greatest players in the world descend upon Erin Hills in Wisconsin for one of the most anticipated events of the year. Dustin Johnson looks to defend his title, but Jason Day, Jordan Spieth, Rory McIlroy, among others, are primed to tame golf's ultimate test and be crowned America's champion. 117th U.S. Open begins June 15th on Fox, FS1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. And there are reports that Phil Mickelson might be withdrawing from the U.S. Open so that he can attend his daughter Amanda her high school graduation, as she will be the graduation speaker.
Wow.
So that is a big story.
It's a good dad right there. Pretty tough to criticize that one.
Marisnik, first pitch, swing and a miss. A balk is called against Kella. And Bregman will go down to second. So I'm pretty sure this is the first time in a long time I've seen 2 balks in one game.
Well, watch the back foot. Does he step off first before? And what they're saying is that he did not. So once your foot clears the rubber, you are now an infielder. You can do whatever you want. But if you tried to make the throw without clearing the rubber, then you have to throw the baseball. So that's what the umpires say that they saw. Now Elvis Andrus will sneak in. Just talk to Kella right now. Make sure that he keeps him calm. Don't let the emotion of the moment overwhelm him. This guy's got good stuff, and it's a live electric arm. But it's important that he stays with himself. He can pitch pretty intensely, and so Elvis Andrus recognizes that. And goes over, just kind of gives him a couple of wise words to make sure that he stays calm. Gets refocused on getting his hitters out.
So now this might change the approach with Marisnik. Or not. 0-2. The Astros started this game tonight 4 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Since they are 0 for 9. Timeout was called before the pitch. And the crowd doesn't like it. So ball called against Kella. Jeff Bannister went out to have some words. Now time called right before the pitch. The crowd not liking it. Marisnik behind in the count, 0-2. Trying to get an insurance run here in the 8th. And he chases it, but with the pitch getting away from Lucroy. Good base running. Down to third base goes Bregman. That's really good base running by the youngster.
Well, here's the breaking ball from Cal, and I mentioned how good this pitch can be. Starts above the zone, finishes below it. You watch Alex Bregman with a good secondary lead, and as soon as he sees that ball is in the dirt, takes off and gets to third base easily.
One out. Infield is brought in with George Springer at the plate. They say that Bregman goes to third on the fielder's choice.
It's a weird call.
I agree with you.
I mean,
the pitch was in the dirt. He went there because it was in the dirt.
Usually the ball hits the dirt.
It's a wild pitch.
Automatically a wild pitch, even if there's a swing and miss. Now what they're saying and what the official scorer is saying is that Jonathan Lucroy had the choice of throwing down to third or getting the runner who was trying to advance from home, but I don't think he had a chance of getting a runner at third.
Springer behind in the count, 0-2 now. with the infield in, trying to put the ball in play, get this run in.
It's kind of absurd, actually, the more I think about it. A fielder's choice on a wild pitch. Well, it's not ruled a wild pitch.
Right. Get heated, CJ. Get heated.
I mean, I'm angry, buddy. I don't know if you can tell in my voice or not. I don't like it. Well, my thing
George is getting upset.
My thing is to change this from at all potentially being an earned or an unearned run if it scores, and there's nothing you can do about it. Can't get around it. I'm thinking about pitchers all the time. Doesn't matter.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Springer. 1 away in the 8th. 5-4 lead for the Astros. The Rangers had a 10-game winning streak earlier this year. The Astros have an 8-game winning streak right now. Breaking ball is outside. 2-2. Keona Keller, the 3rd pitcher of the game for the Rangers. Cashner, he won 6. Jose Leclerc through the 7th. Kellis here in the 8th.
And if he tries to finish off Springer with the fastball, he is better off elevating than getting it down, and he'll also chase above the zone, especially after that curveball.
2-2, pulled foul.
Now here's a breaking ball that sits in the zone a little bit higher than Jonathan Lucroy wanted it. Then Keona Keller wanted it. You see that ball lying down the left field line. Springer's aggressive, right? We talked about it. If you're going to throw the breaking ball for me, you throw it below the zone the same way you did with Marisnik if you try to strike him out that way. Otherwise, fastball elevated and even up under the hands is a really good spot against Springer.
Springer doubled his last time up down the right field line. Pops one up. Going back is Andrus on the outfield grass. He gets called off by Rua, and Rua makes the catch. A late call off by Ryan Rua, who came in the 5th inning.
Well, this is good communication by both of these guys. You see Ryan Rua screaming at the top of his lungs and does a nice job. It's a much easier catch for him, even though he had a long way to come in. Elvis Andrus, of course, was playing in. The infield was in, so he had a long way to go back, and the outfielder always has priority in those situations. Much easier to catch a fly ball when you're going in toward it as opposed to running backwards and away from it.
2 outs. Infield can play their normal position now with Josh Reddick at the plate. He's looking for his first hit. He does have a walk and a run scored back in the 3rd. And the first pitch fastball misses for ball 1. Not sure where. Keller wasn't sure either.
You see the reaction against Angel Hernandez, who's had kind of an interesting night himself. Some calls that we have seen missed, and also at the beginning of the game.
Good pitch, 1-1. This is a really, really big spot in the game. To keep it a 1-run game. You see what the Astros have done. 0 for their last 11 with runners in scoring position. Pop foul behind home plate, out of play. 1-2. It's the bottom 3rd of the order due up in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Rangers. 44,168 here at Globe Life Park in Arlington to watch this Lone Star Series matchup. The 1-2 popped up. Beltre on the outfield grass, and Keller gets out of the jam. The Astros strand a runner at 3rd. Joey Gallo has the pop to tie it up. He leads off the 8th. The Lone Star Series. It brings out the best in these teams. 5-4, bottom of the 8th inning. Astros lead the Rangers. After a 7-1 victory last night by the Astros, the new pitcher into the game is James Hoyt. Has appeared in 12 games, 1-0. 15 innings, a 3.00 ERA, 26 strikeouts to 3 walks. You gotta love, as you said, CJ, how these guys throw strikes. Joey Gallo leading things off. One swing and he can tie it up.
He's got great power, but you're right, not only throwing strikes, but then also generating the great swings and misses. Hoyt, another one of these guys. Now it's only been in 12 games, but a 15.6 strikeout per 9 rate overall for him. And another guy who doesn't use the fastball is his predominant pitch. It's 51% sliders. You saw that first one, and now a second one to Joey Gallo.
No balls, 2 strikes to Gallo. Gallo's 0 for 3. A couple of ground outs and a strikeout. When he connects, it goes a long way.
You really wonder a little bit with Joey Gallo, who's been so important to the Rangers, filling in at third base. They were saying in the offseason that he was probably ticketed for AAA. Felt like they wanted him to work on some of that swing and miss in his game, but Adrian Beltre goes down, and so he gets an opportunity. He delivers. Yeah, the batting average has been low, but he's delivered with power. Well, now that Beltre is back, you just kind of wonder a little bit for him, playing some left, some DH, some first base, if that'll feel a little bit awkward for him, because he was pretty much playing every day and playing third base for the Rangers.
1-2 in the air, right field. Back is Springer. Springer on the track makes the catch. Just got under it. Too much launch angle, I guess.
That's where launch angle can be a bad thing. You want to bring it down a little bit for Joey Gallo, and he did just get under this baseball, and it was another slider. He put a good swing on it, and you see him, he hit it, but he actually watched George Springer instead of watching the baseball to try to get a read. You know that the ball will get up in the air here in right field. It'll carry a little bit, not as much as it used to, but it'll still carry. But that one was hit too high to really take advantage.
Too high? What do you mean too high?
Some of that carry. And these flags right now are not moving an inch, so there's no wind at all here, helping out Joey Gallo on that high fly ball to right.
Ryan Rua takes the first pitch for a strike.
Of course, we showed the one. You see, that's the only one that's blowing. Like you see the other two. Look at all the ones that are not blowing.
I'm pretty sure that flag was moving at least an inch.
I mean, we are first. It was all about, you know, the Astros, Rangers, legends, and you throw me in there for some fun, and now you find the one blowing flag that we have. That's actually in another stadium. That's not here. So you're calling me a liar.
1 ball, 1 strike. The count here to Rua. This was Mike Napoli's spot in the lineup. Napoli left with back spasms. Low and inside. 2-1. What is fun with Gallo at the plate, when he hits one like that, the whole place gets up.
Yeah. Well, he's been that kind of hitter. They've seen it already. Rangers fans have from Joey Gallo. He's got as good as power as anybody. He's hit the ball as hard as anybody when he does connect and hit his home runs. And so, yeah, they get pretty excited.
That was a foul tip. 2-2.
Hernandez almost acted like this might have hit Ryan Rua, but Ryan Rua did not react that way. And you see that ball hitting the barrel of his bat.
That's where you got to drop the bat and start shaking your hands.
Fake it.
High fastball called, strike 3. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by the all-new Chrysler Pacifica, imported from Detroit, and by Zyzal. For continuous 24-hour allergy relief, take new Zyzal.
It's a fastball where you miss location, and Ryan Rua knew it, but Angel Hernandez still called the strike, and I think it probably caught the up and away part of the strike zone. It's good to see umpires make those calls. A lot of times you miss a spot, you're not going to get the call even if the pitch is a strike. So I'm giving Angel Hernandez a little bit of a hard time tonight, but I thought that was a good call there.
That's a pitcher talking. Hoeing reaching the fielder's choice his last time up, stole a base, was stranded at second to end the inning, and now he pulls one foul. 0-2. The Astros were behind 1-0 after one, tied it up 1-1 in the second on the Beltran home run, went up 5-1 in the third. The Rangers scored 3 in the fifth to make it 5-4. They've had some opportunities since, have not been able to come through. It's 5-4 here in the eighth. And that's strike 3 to end the eighth. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning. We go to the ninth here in Arlington. 5-4 Astros.
Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. We got everything you want.
Oh, 3-4-5 for the Astros, leading 5-4. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, and Carlos Beltran against Keona Kela. Altuve deep to left field. 6-4 Astros. Home run number 8 on the year for Altuve in his 3rd hit of the night.
I mentioned it earlier. Jose Altuve is very good on the fastballs up, and he gets one here. Exactly what is his sweet spot, up over the plate, and does not wait around. Crushes a first pitch fastball there from Keona Kela.
It is kind of funny how the two smaller guys in baseball, Altuve and Pedroia, both love those high fastballs.
With an opportunity to get some leverage on that ball that is up. Short, quick swings make it a little bit easier to get to that pitch as well.
Carlos Correa takes the first pitch breaking ball for a strike, but Altuve, what a night. Single in the first, The longest single you'll ever see, right by the 407 sign in right center field in the third. And now the home run here in the ninth. I think his single in the third went further than his home run just did.
He might have, actually. It's a good point. I mean, he crushed that ball to right center field, but because of the way that Jared Hoying played it and the runners in front of him, Jose Altuve had to stay at first base.
Springer up the middle. Andrews behind the bag. Makes the play. Very nicely done by Elvis Andrews. Maybe says Carlos Correa, hey kid, I still got it.
A little shortstop on shortstop crime here from Elvis Andrews as he moves hard to his left and has to make that throw on the run. And also a good stretch by Joey Gallo at first base. A little Mark Teixeira split.
Jeff Bannister has come out. He's made the call to the bullpen. It's going to be Alex Claudio coming in. Kella's night is done. It's 6-4 here in the ninth. Houston. Our prevailing moment of the game, sponsored by the Hartford. Carlos Beltran, his night started early. In the second, the solo home run off of Cashner. Then the third came through the two-run single. And now he gets to bat righty against the lefty, Alex Claudio.
Claudio, you see that sidearm delivery, does not throw necessarily particularly hard, but he has got this changeup that he throws from that arm angle that he loves using against right-handed hitters. See him go fastball there at 86 miles an hour, but the changeup is really slow. It'll sit in the 70s, but you see the numbers there and the job that he has done. He's been kind of a utility pitcher for the Rangers so far this season. It did something pretty unique within a matter of 4 days. Made his first big league start and got his first big league save.
That is pretty unique. So is his motion.
All sidearm, all about the deception. Now the idea here, of course, is that they want to be able to turn Carlos Beltran around, so you get a little bit of an advantage. Righty hitting against the sidearm.
Swinging away on 3-0. Going to be a tough play for Odor, and he's got him. Beltran, maybe earlier in his career, able to beat that one out for an infield single. Not at this stage of his career.
I think that's absolutely right. The younger Carlos Beltran would be able to call this his fourth hit of the night, but instead it's Odor who makes a nice play and a good throw, and they get Beltran by just a step.
2 outs, and Marwin Gonzalez. He'll also turn around to bat righty. One ball, no strikes to Gonzalez. Ken Giles warming up in the bullpen for the Astros, hoping to close out their 9th straight win. By the way, an update on Tyson Ross tonight. He went 5 1/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts through 93 pitches in Round Rock.
Interesting. That'll be an interesting decision, I think, for the Rangers. The walks obviously jump out at you a little bit, the higher pitch count, but I say this all the time. You look at big leaguers that go down to rehab. David Price did not pitch well at his rehab. He's been fine. The adrenaline is just not there. It is so difficult for a big leaguer, especially one that has been around for a while, has been successful, to really try to replicate the adrenaline when you're pitching against minor league hitters. So you stay off the results a little bit when evaluating and kind of look more on how did he feel, how did the stuff look coming out of his hand, and those are the reports that actually matter, I think, to the team than the line. So you'd love to see him dominate.
All right, fine. I'm sorry I said the line.
No, I'm saying, listen, you'd love for it to be 5-6 innings, a couple of hits, no runs, 7 strikeouts with 1 walk. That'd be nice, but you always got to dig in a little bit deeper when you have those big leaguers rehabbing.
Foul ball, 3-2. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning. For the Rangers, they will have the top of the order. Chu, Andrus, Mazzara due up to face Giles. Right now, it's a 2-run deficit. Andrus has had himself a big night. 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. The 3-2. There's a changeup. Andrus, nice play. The low throw, got him. What a play right there by Elvis Andrus. Elvis Andrus with a couple of nifty plays in the inning. This one tops him. He'll bat second in the 9th with his team trailing by 2. Baseball Night in America on Fox. Jose Altuve in the top of the 9th inning with the big home run. And what do you do with a little man? You pick him up when he hits a big home run. It's big because it's insurance. 6-4 as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. And the closer comes in. Ken Giles to face the top of the order. Shin-Soo Choo, Elvis Andrus, Nomar Mazara. If somebody gets on, Adrian Beltre will get a chance to hit.
Think about how big that additional run was, that home run from Jose Altuve, giving Ken Giles just a little bit more breathing room. Last night he pitched, it was the first time he'd pitched in a week just because they hadn't needed him because of the offense and how strong it has been. He left that solo home run to Adrian Beltre. Now he's back out there tonight, back-to-back nights.
Foul back at 100, 0-2. The Astros trying to make it 9 in a row. Also 9 straight road wins. Slow ground ball. Charging Correa makes the play, one away.
Well, that'll go down as a 6-3, but this was a dribbler at second base. Just out of the reach of Giles, who does a good job of actually staying out of that play. You got a glove on that ball, he might have made it worse. And one thing about the shift, one of many things about the shift, is that it creates kind of these unusual angles and balls that are fielded by players that are not in their usual position. That's not a play that Carlos Correa has to make very often, but he made it perfectly.
Now Elvis Andrus, who made that sparkling play to end the top half of the 9th inning. He's had a good night at the plate. And he takes the first pitch breaking ball outside for ball 1. He had a good May. Finished off the month of May by getting married. And now here in June, he's got 3 hits, 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs, a run scored, a couple of nice plays in the field as well. And he's ahead in the count 2-0, trying to get on base, bring the tying run to the plate. And they've got power coming up. Mazara on deck. Takes a strike, 2-1. This Texas team had won 10 in a row, and you thought they were turning things around. They were back to what everyone thought these Texas Rangers would be. Since that 10-game winning streak, they've been on the slide. Check swing, the appeal, he did not go.
See the fastball up here. Elvis Andrus does a nice job of laying off the fastball up, and he's in a somewhat favorable count here. Obviously, Ken Giles has got some great stuff, and so even when you're behind in the count, when you throw 100 with a good slider, you're still feeling like you have the advantage.
Down low, ball 4. The tying run will come to the plate. Nomar Mazara has 6 home runs on the season.
Right fielder, Nomar Mazara.
Well, it's not surprising with the stuff that Ken Giles has, and when you start to look into the splits a little bit and say lefty righty, doesn't matter. Yeah, he's been a little bit better against righties this year. Lefty's hitting just 200 against him. Righty's 171, so not a big difference there. And the only home run he's allowed so far this year has been the one that Adrian Beltre hit last night.
Down low for ball 1. On deck is Beltre, hit that home run last night. The Rangers have lost 9 of their last 12 since that 10-game winning streak. Trying to snap the 8-game winning streak by the Astros. And it's 2-0 here to Nomar Mazara.
How about that pick by Brian McCann? But check out the Astros bullpen and the job that they have done. And not only tonight, which they have been extremely dominant, but really this season have been so good for A.J. Hinch. So many different weapons, different looks. Doesn't have to play lefty-righty matchups necessarily because of the great arms that he has down in that pen.
16 strikeouts by the staff tonight for the Astros. A season high is 17 against the Royals back on April the 9th. Foul back, 2-1. 8 strikeouts by the starter, Lance McCullers Jr., and then 8 by the bullpen. The Astros in search of their 40th win of the season. The Rangers struck out 20 times in a game last week. They've got 16 tonight. The runner goes, and Andrews will take second as this pitch misses. And it's now 3 balls and a strike.
And those 20 strikeouts that you mentioned really shouldn't have happened. We'll take a quick replay here on the uncontested steal from Elvis Andrews. Gets a monstrous jump and nobody even covering second base. But for people that saw that game and saw Craig Kimbrell come in, he struck out Nomar Mazara, the first batter of the inning. The ball hit Mazara. They did not, umpires missed it, did not realize that it hit him, and so they allowed him, because he ran to first, he ended up being safe. Kimbrell then came in and continued the game and struck out the next 3 batters. So we had 4 strikeouts in the inning that got them to 20. So even though they tied that Major League record, it should not have happened. It was a missed call by the umpires who did not see the ball hit Nomar Mazara.
Mazara fouls off the 3-1 pitch. 3 balls and 2 strikes, bottom of the 9th inning. Jeff Bannister, who stays so calm in that dugout, win or lose. Andrews off at second. The 3-2 to Mazara. Looks at strike 3. 99, it looked right down the middle. And there's strikeout number 17, tying the Houston record for the season.
You see that fastball right down the middle. You mentioned the velocity, and yes, it jumped on Nomar Mazara at 97. He was unable to pull the trigger. This is his 4th strikeout of the night.
Adrian Beltre now at the plate. Had an RBI single back in the 5th. This was Beltre last night.
He got it started early. He was in a fastball count. The ball was elevated from Giles, and there is that beautiful Adrian Beltre swing that we have seen over the years. And his first of the year, certainly one that had to feel good for him.
Called strike 2.
Mentioned those 4 strikeouts for Nomar Mazara. First time in his career that he has struck out 4 times in the game. Look at his breaking ball here from Giles. You get it started early, thinking about getting it started early when a guy throws as hard as he does. And that breaking ball is equally as good as the hard fastball.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on second, bottom of the 9th inning. The Astros trying to make it 9 in a row. Down low, 1-2. The producer of tonight's game is Eric Billigmeyer, director Mitch Riggin, associate director Andy Cavanaugh, broadcast associate June Endo. Stats provided by Dave Kors and Andy Cavanaugh. Technical producer Don Esposito. Technical director is Dan Berger. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count here to Adrian Beltre. Low and outside. 2-2.
Think about so many aggressive hitters on both sides, both of these teams. How many guys would have swung at both that 0-2 and that 1-2 pitch? But Adrian Beltre, the veteran who has been there, really unbelievable to see the patience so far in this at bat.
He is the only Ranger without a strikeout in the lineup. The veteran, the big brother. The 2-2 is ripped to left field. Andrus will score. One-run ball game. For the second straight night, Beltre gets to Giles.
I think you watch this at bat from Adrian Beltre, the ability to lay off both the 0-2 and the 1-2 breaking balls that are down, then to get a fastball that he can handle, delivering with a base hit and an RBI. And it cannot be understated how important he is to this lineup and how much the Texas Rangers had missed him in his absence. They were certainly happy to have him back. But it's just incredible to watch the work that Adrian Beltre does.
Delano DeShields will pinch run now for Beltre, representing the tying run. Rougned Odor has come up in big spots in the 5th and the 7th innings. Both times he has struck out. Outside, ball 1. A chance to be a hero here for Texas, and Brian McCann wants to go out and speak with Giles. Adrian Beltre now becomes a cheerleader.
I think Brian McCann saw that breaking ball stay back door and kind of floating out there a little bit from from Ken Giles, and just wants to make sure he stays on target a little bit more. Doesn't want him to fly open, doesn't want him to overthrow in these situations. Even a fastball out over the plate, Rougned Odor can still get to it.
By the way, let's go back to one thing. How big was that home run by Altuve?
Pretty big, buddy. I mean, that's no doubt. Big difference when you think about the one extra run and what a difference that makes even for Ken Giles, the way he's approached this entire inning.
A look back to DeShields. DeShields on the season 8 for 11 in stolen bases. We saw Elvis Andrus swipe second uncontested. They're keeping a much closer eye here on DeShields as he represents the tying run. Throwback, just getting back in safely.
Delano DeShields has got to be careful here. You see his feet in the air actually as he starts to break back toward the bag, diving back in. Yes, the idea of him getting in a scoring position, scoring on a base hit would be nice, but you do not want to take the bat out of Odor's hands.
The outfield is in doubles prevent defense. They're playing deep. Fastball is up high, 2-0.
Well, you have to in this situation in the outfield. Anything over their heads is a run. Delano DeShields is the only run that matters right now.
Reddick in left, Marisnik in center, Springer in right. A throwback again. DeShields gets back in safely.
Now listen, there's still that advantage of Delano DeShields being aggressive with his leads, getting in the mind of Giles a little bit, thinking about, you know what, yeah, I got to worry about this runner. I don't want that tying run to get into scoring position, and maybe he gets to buy Rougned Odor a mistake over the plate.
Again, this time a low throw. The fans are booing, but I mean, this is something you got to be aware of. This is what speed does. But the more times you throw over, The less focus on the hitter. Advantage to the hitter. The 2-0. Breaking ball was fouled back. Look at Odor just looking. I mean, that's a mistake right there that he missed.
Nothing changes with Rougned Odor. Doesn't matter how his season's going. He continues to be the same hitter. Aggressive, locked in, confident. You cannot shake this guy's confidence. And you can see it right there. That's when he just took against Giles.
2 balls and 1 strike. 6-5 ball game, bottom of the 9th inning. The Lone Star Series, the 2-1. Swung on a miss, 2-2.
There's that breaking ball down below the zone. This is well located by Giles. And you see as it comes out of his hand, that ball is a strike halfway there. It just darts straight down below the zone.
A strikeout here would be a new season high for the Astros pitchers. It would also be a win, and it would be the 9th straight win. Odor has struck out 3 times on the night, including his last 2 at-bats in the 5th and the 7th. The 2-2. He strikes out to end the ball game. 9 in a row for the Astros. 18 strikeouts by Astro pitchers tonight, and they win it 6-5.
And it's that breaking ball again that Giles goes back to, keeps it near the bottom of the zone, and Odor swings right over the top of that pitch.
A huge home run by Jose Altuve in the top of the 9th inning gave them the insurance run that proved to be the difference. A 9-game winning streak. It is the longest currently in the baseball. The 40th win of the season for the Astros. What a run they're on. For CJ Nitkowski, this is Justin Kutcher saying so long from Arlington. We'll get you to our LA studios for more post-game coverage with KB, EK, and Frank after these messages.